a little bit disappointing, I would say. But overall, I think it was an incredibly exciting day.
That's Dignitas now tilting two top 4 teams in a row to put themselves in the top 4 here, Gibbs.
Yeah, that was awesome to see. And we always talk about these underdog teams. It's great when they do it in the first regional because it spices up the point standings for the rest of winter now, because now everyone's gonna have to chase down Dignitas to get a top 5 spot, and we'll see if Dignitas can hold on to it. So it's gonna be very exciting, Regional 2 and Regional 3. So I'm pumped for it.
Not to mention version 1 and FaZe dropping out the day before too.
Yeah,
so like it's wide open here in North America.
The points are crazy. Everyone's just trying to get to San Diego here, Corelli, which you can get to. You can, in chat, you can get there too. Exclamation point tickets. Just make sure you go and get your tickets April 7th through 9th. Have you been to San Diego before, Corelli?
Yes, I live like 6 hours away, so it's very easy.
Is it nice? Should the people go?
Oh, absolutely. It's beautiful in San Diego. If you've never been, this is your chance to go. It's amazing there.
Listen, there's a lot of things they lie about in the movie Anchorman. How nice San Diego is, not one of them. So you want to go, folks. It's a great place. We're going to have a great time. I hope to see you guys there April 7th through 9th. You're getting a dream hack for the price of an RLCS ticket as well. Make sure you check it out. Exclamation point tickets in chat. Okay, let's talk about what happened yesterday for the people that had work or that could not be here for whatever reason. They're babysitting their friend Squid. What happened yesterday? Let's walk through the matches here, James. NRG versus G2. We started off with the most played match in Rocket League.
Honestly, this matchup felt like a grand final. Casting it with Corelli, you could tell how badly NRG wanted it, and they were playing really well. And I feel like, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, James Bot's on NRG, Hopium, he's on everything." But no, I actually thought they looked really, really good. They just needed some luck to go their way. And I mean, this series, if you remember the 0-second goal, that really put NRG down. They were playing so well. They had the lead in the game, and it was just one errant touch that kept the ball up, a great fake from Chicago, and then Atomic. He was the difference maker in that series, and NRG just couldn't get it done.
And then we moved on to the match of the day. Gen.G versus Furia, now with Lost. And game 1 looked like it was all Furia, but no goals were scored. Then Gen.G found a way to win game 1. After that, they took over. The Weekend Warriors in Gen.G moved to 4-0 on Saturday. And just unfortunate for Furia, they won the group, but just ran into a hot Gen.G yet again. Chronic looked fantastic. Nolly, apparently, Jack, this is the best team in the world right now. Fall major champions, and they showed it again here.
Yeah, and I think that for Dignitas and Space Station, Dignitas, they've been on the up and up. I talked to their coach, Nick, before the regional. He was very confident in his squad, and for good reason. This team is shooting 30% in the playoffs right now. And with all the question marks around Evo, this young man is performing. He's passing with flying colors. And you couple him with the talent of a guy like Andy, and this team has gone from a blunt object to a razor edge, cutting through the competition.
Don't forget about Drees. I mean, Drees was amazing too.
He's fantastic too.
Making the major play, phenomenally got his shot. But let's talk about M80 and Complexity. M80, the team that nobody expected to make a deep run. Well, they were able to do it. However, it met a pretty convincing end here against Complexity. Complexity at times looked like they were playing with their food. Multiple 3-goal-plus wins. They were just so solid. And CRR, he needed this result. A big move, bringing him on to Complexity. They needed this success, and they were finally getting it yesterday. And now a chance to have even more success today against what I would say is a favorable matchup in Dignitas.
Complexity does continue to find good matchups here. But the fact that we have either Dignitas or Complexity in the finals is just such a story here for our first event of the winter split. Either one of those teams going to be playing for a title of regional champion there. I mean, look at the M80 there. Just to quickly talk about this team again. Such a deep run from them. Do you think we'll be back?
I think we will see them popping up here and there. I mean, you look at all the players, they have been players that were kind of similar to Andy's story, where they're finishing on the outskirts. They haven't been able to break in. This was a big break-in performance for them, even though some people would say, oh, it's only top 8. I think that is a phenomenal result. M80, they have the ability to get here, but the question is, can they do it again? Yes. Will they? I have no idea.
I also think... Go ahead, Wade.
I was going to change the topic. I want to hear your thoughts.
I just want to say, I think out of all the teams that have lost here, NRG was the most convincing in my eyes. I think they were. They
100%,
played
You're so right.
Yeah.
Thank you, James. Appreciate the help. But they were. I think they were. And even though the 4-line scoreline, we talked about it, James, it was not indicative of how good they were against Gen.G, or excuse me, against G2, who I think is fantastic throughout this regional.
And the one issue, but real quick, before we get to Energy, are they back? Because I know James wants to talk about Energy more, but I feel like Space Station, that was a bad loss. Because when you look at the top side of that bracket, that was Space Station's bracket. They got a lot of teams that didn't perform in fall, and then they fall to a Dignitas squad. And now, Dignitas and Complexity both have a golden opportunity to make a grand finals. And again, no team in NA in Europe, like if you've made a grand finals, they've always made major. So absolute huge game there. But going back, James, is Energy back?
I think that NRG, they've always been here. I think a lot of people have been questioning them, but a top 6 is not a bad performance by any team. They, in my opinion, just need a little bit of luck to help bring them over the top. It's clear they're putting in the work. It's clear they're playing well enough. Even in yesterday's series, there were 2 games where NRG gave up the lead in the final seconds. One of them was at 0 seconds. So it's razor thin margins for NRG to be able to finally break through. I think what is the biggest mental barrier for them. They're here. They have the ability. They just need that extra little bit to get them the actual results. That's the difference between 6th and missing the major and a top 5 and going to 1.
I feel like they need to win more. There's a whole army of teams out there that can make top 8 and lose to G2. That's not the standard of NRG being back. This is one of the biggest, best teams in the history of Rocket League. This doesn't constitute being back to me.
But they're back in the conversation to make the major. Like I think in the fall they weren't really.
They've never left the conversation to make the majors. Last split they were 6th.
They were 6th.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
they're here. They're here to play. They've been here. They never left.
They did get a top 4 last time, but then 2 9th place finishes as well. So Energy, I think they're right on the cusp. But this looks better than fall. I think Energy, they kind of weren't looking that great. Maybe some beneficial bracket runs to just a fluke top 4. But now it looks like they can actually make a top 4, in my mind at least, because they look good against G2. They should have won that series, and I don't think it's luck. I think it's more bad luck, maybe, because Squishy hit the crossbar
it's not
5
luck,
million
it's bad
times.
luck. That's luck, Gibbs. If it's bad luck, that's luck. I hate to break it to you.
But it's not about good luck. It's more about just you have to hit those shots. They
missed a
so
couple
many shots on
crossbars.
target. There were post crossbars.
Yeah.
Justin was playing really well, but there was one play where he did hit it off the crossbar. I think he was on low boost. And then if you go back and look at that 0-second goal, Justin had to make a split-second decision on how he was going to hit that ball. Ended up putting it back out into the middle, which gave G2 that space. A brilliant fake by Chicago. I think G2 played out of their mind. Atomic specifically, but all of G2, they are in my opinion, a team that is so hard to shake. Well, even in these situations where it seems like they could be down and out of a series, things are not going their way. They have such great mental fortitude. I think they're a shining example of mental fortitude. But it's just the way the cookie crumbled. But I have a lot of faith in NRG. I think they've never left, and they're going to get some results.
A lot of people do. For Garrett's sake, we'll stop talking about NRG now. Let's start talking about the rest of what happened yesterday. We saw some crazy plays, but these were the top 3. Corelli, break it down for us.
That's right, Wave. Let's get into the top 3 plays of the week. At number 3, check out this passing play from M80 versus Complexity. Every touch here, a one-touch pass downfield from Lion Blaze off the back wall, over to Kinsey from the midfield, and back to Percy. Perfect use of the space in front of them. And the beauty of this play is how it all comes together. That first touch from Lion Blaze, afterwards, everything falls into place. Number 2. Gen.G. They put on a symphony of gorgeous plays against Furia, but most notably this flip reset from Nolly. Look how he gets under that one and scoops it over 2, and maybe give a little bit of credit to Appjack there, slamming into Nolly and making it look all that much better. But number 1, check out my boy Yan. This touch off the ceiling coming down. James was singing his praises off of this insane shot from Yan. We saw him go for this multiple times, but you can see he jumps off the ceiling to get that flip to come down into the ball and get the power on the shot. That's what caught the defense out. And of course, off the crossbar as well, makes it that much harder to save. Yan is your number 1 play of the week.
And I gotta say, like, we were talking about Furia, they were starting to warm up into that series. Yan was really trying to pull them back into it. Like, if that's a best of 13, Fury's got a shot. I think they were slowly getting into that series. Unfortunately, they lost 3 in a row at the start.
I don't know about
they looked
that.
very competitive in those final 2 games. And I think
That was a great match.
Maybe 10 some more. Again, best of 13, they got it. They got it. Easy.
I don't know about that.
I was a little
13, okay.
Thank
I'll make
goodness
you
we
rules
don't play
for
those,
it.
folks. Let's play. Speaking of things we don't play all the time, let's play a little game. This is called Yay or Nay. Chat. I think you're gonna get to give your opinion here as well. Hashtag Yay, hashtag Nay. We're gonna make some statements. Yay if you agree with it. Nay if you don't. Pretty simple rules. Up on the desk, you can say yay, nay. You can give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, however you're feeling about this. We're gonna go with the first one here. Speaking of Furia and winning best of 13s, maybe hopefully they can figure out how to win some best of 5s and 7s moving forward. Furia and Complexity. Top 5 North America. Fury and Complexity going to make the major. Do both South American teams here playing in North America make the major? Thumbs.
And Wave, when we did this top 5 yesterday on our pre-show for Power Rankings, only Jorby had both them in
Only
there.
Jorby had them both. Only Jorby had them both, folks. Okay.
Now
3, 2, 1. I'm going to go down. We got Crowley going down. We got up. James is just flipping and flopping around here. But Gibbs, you're believing in both teams making it. That there's 2 of the teams that didn't make it to the fall major. Are
Absolutely, like, because I think Furia will be a top 4 team by the end through these reps. They ran into a Gen.G squad, and that was a very difficult task, so they lost that, but it was still a top 5 finish, which is great when it's the first regional with Lost, and Complexity is going to make Grand Finals today. And if they make Grand Finals, they're going to make the major because they're going to have so many points. So I think both
wrote off
make
Dignitas.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying they're going to win. So, yeah.
I see that there's a topsy-turvy top semifinal today. I can totally understand the actual argument for Complexity. I think it's the Furia one that confuses me with how many teams we've seen just already in this split can make it to a grand finals. That I do not think it's guaranteed that Furia is making it to top 4.
I'm with you, Wave. 100%.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I just think after what we saw, Gen.G, I think, did not look that good yesterday. Offensively, they had some good moments. I thought Chronic was spectacular. Everyone had good moments, but the defense, there were some holes in the Gen.G defense, but Furia, they were teethless. There was that shot from Yan, but Lost did not really gel with that team at times. I don't have confidence for Furia making top 5. Complexity, yes. Furia, no.
You got
Chat, how did chat feel? I actually missed it. I wasn't even looking. Chat, but you guys, I'm sure, had some great opinions, though. You're never wrong. 64% nay there. So, man, we have a bunch of haters out here, folks. All right, next statement here. Do you agree or disagree? NA is deep.
That's the question.
That's the question. Is this depth?
Boom.
Or not? We got double
100%.
thumbs down. I'm going neutral.
Are you serious?
I'm neutral on this one.
So real quick,
I want to know.
They are not deep, James. It's like fruit snacks. When you get a pack of fruit snacks and then it says, "Oh, it's made of 10% fruit." You know, that's what NA is right now.
That makes zero sense. Fruit snacks are delicious.
No.
And
Yes,
those
but it's
boxes of
10%
fruit snacks,
fruit. It's not
they're
fruit
so
snacks.
deep. They're
They have
like this
international
deep in
transfers.
the fruit. It's only
It's
that much
all
of the box,
about
but
the international transfers. They have players coming over from Europe, players coming over from Sam that make this.
No.
team
Who's your
like-
depth teams?
It's
Who's your
not
depth
deep.
teams?
Gibbs, give me the floor. Give me the floor. So the question, I think it really comes to how do you define NA?
Yes.
For me, I define North America as players competing in the North American RLCS region. What do you think depth is? I think there's more than 5 incredibly, spectacularly capable teams performing at an international major. You have Complexity, Space Station, FaZe, Version 1, G2, Gen.G, and now NRG once more. All of those teams I can see not only winning a North American regional, I can see winning an international major. So to say North America is not deep, you're delusional. And all 3 of you guys,
James,
you need to
Can I
understand
say something?
James,
All right.
Energy is not winning a major. I'm sorry.
They
not happening.
I said they're
It's not
capable.
happening right now.
They're capable of it.
I don't think it actually matters how you define North America. I think it matters how you define deep. And injecting the number 1 teams from South America, 2 of them, and then injecting 2 fantastic European talents into North America doesn't add depth. That adds more top teams in North America.
No,
when I think of depth, no, I'm not done.
there's so
James, I'm
many-
not done.
Okay,
I'm not done. I'm not done. When I define depth, I'm talking about players that come from, like the Andes who are finishing 9th,
Oh, yeah,
12th,
like
or
Dignitas
not
coming top 4. I
qualified.
guess
Speed it
then
up,
they
bro.
Coming
got-
Speed it
in
up. We gotta
and
move
making
on.
their way to the top of North America. We are not seeing that. We're seeing it right now.
You're
It
not as
happened
depth.
this one
You're
time.
not enough depth. You just
This
let it
one
happen.
time. It's not consistent though, James.
Chat is
That's the
split
difference.
down the middle
It's
on this
not
one as well.
consistent.
Chat is also split on the middle on this one, but the 60% say yes. So obviously, NA is clearly
not
deep
down the middle.
That's pretty down the middle.
NA
Pretty close there.
fans.
All right, next one.
Who are
Next
your
one. Next
deep
one. All right, we
teams?
were talking about making the major. Now we're just going to talk about regional events. Okay, we're not talking about major. Gen.G missed a top 4. They have yet to do it. They have not missed Championship Sunday a single day yet in 2022. Do they miss a top 4 this split? So in the next 2 events, do they miss a top 4 in the next 2? 3, 2, 1. No one's putting their thumbs any direction here. I'm gonna go.
I'm going to say yes. I don't want
Yes,
to.
because they have to. Is it the same argument as yesterday? when
Because
proved us
they
wrong?
never win
They
their
have
groups
to.
on day 1, so they're going to have to play 2 matches where they have 1 life. Eventually, they're going to lose one of those.
There's only
At
2
some
more
point,
times.
It's going to happen. I know. Well, that's 4 matches of 1 life play as long as they don't win their group. I don't know. It's tough.
I'm
Like,
with Gibbs
maybe
on this
they
one. I
played
think-
well in
yeah.
day 1s. I don't know.
I'm not
This
convinced
format
either.
is so unforgiving. I think that they're going to misstep. I think they're going to have a series where they don't play well, where another team does. You know,
That's what we said
yesterday
last
we-
split too. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true. I
man.
know.
Yeah,
think-
I'm not
I
convinced
think-
either way. Personally, I said no, but I'm not super convinced either way. I definitely agree that like you can't. It's tough to be super consistent, especially with North America right now with all the top
with
teams
how
at the
deep
top.
it is, right?
With all the top
Yeah.
teams at the top. But I think that when it comes to like consistency, Gen.G's already shown that. I mean, they did it last split.
All right. Well, I mean, chat's an overwhelming 70% agrees that Gen.G will miss a top 4 there, folks. Last one here we're going to go through. V1 makes the major. Do they bounce back? This was a rough start. We've been talking about how unfathomably deep NA is. Do they make the major here? 3, 2, 1. I got a thumbs down from Gibbs already. I'm going to give a thumbs down. Oh.
Oh, no.
Chat,
Can I go
you-
there? Can I go here? Look,
Well,
I,
V1
wait,
We
can
all
you do
kind of
a
want to
yay
go
or
here,
nay?
but yeah.
the thing is like I think you kind of spoil the pot with their performance here, so everyone's gonna be like, "Oh no, they're horrible," but they could turn things around just like FaZe could as well. I don't know. I
It's not
think
can they, it's will they.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't
So I
think so
didn't
either.
have them in my top 5. They were borderline top 5 for me, and now they have a 9th place finish. It's going to be tough, but they did win a regional in fall. They could do it again in winter and bounce right
I
back.
think the big difference, though, this time around is that during this last roster fiasco in North America, it was really clear that Com was on the chopping block. And I think when you are a player that you know that you could be out, especially if things don't go well and things have not gone well this time, then your focus might start to shift more towards, all right, let's make this team as good as possible. You might start moving towards what team can I now land on because I know I'm the first one out. So I think that really has shaken version 1, and I've lost a lot of confidence in that roster's mental aspect versus their playability.
It is absolutely a battle of the mental for them. For can they get themselves in gear? We know they have the mechanics. It's just a matter of can they do that with their brains now. 72% of chat also agreeing. That's the most overwhelming majority we had so far that they are not going to make the top. You're going to make the major there, folks. We'll see what happens though. We got to play the games to find out. Now, we've got 4 teams left to play today. 2 semifinals and then a grand finals. Gentlemen, who's taking it home? This is the bracket. A reminder. Gibbs, we're going to be seeing Complexity take on Dignitas. We're going to see Gen.G taking on G2. I hope you guys have your whiteboards out here. I want to go down the line, actually, and start with you, Mr. Crelly. In the grand finals, not which 2 teams are going to be there. Doesn't matter who they're playing against, just who's going to win it all. Though we're probably going to ask you who they're playing against once you give me some outrageous answer. Crelly, who you got?
I'm sorry. I'm picking who's winning it all. Is that you
Yeah, who's winning it all?
confused
Who
me
wins
with too many
this
words?
Oh, I'm sorry.
First
I
place.
asked the question too many times.
Pirelli's confused.
That looks like ground zero.
G2.
G2. Ground zero's gonna win the event.
You're shambles, man.
You have a whole whiteboard, and you just use that much? Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, I was listening to Wave. He hit me with a lot of words. G2.
Yeah, words
G2's
are
winning.
tough, man.
I mean,
Words are
G2.
so
I think
hard.
I think
you think they make it past Gen.G?
Yes, I think really their biggest opponent might be Complexity here. I do. I am with Gibbs. Complexity probably going to win, but I think that for G2, they've shown to be good enough to beat Gen.G here. I don't think Gen.G was super convincing, as James mentioned, and I think G2 was super convincing against NRG. That was a tough matchup for them, and I like the interview that we had from Chicago to him talking about what they've been working on, having honest conversations. I don't think a lot of teams are doing that, and after the major that they had, they are certainly motivated here to win this first event.
James, who you got?
So I'm going to be honest. I think NRG wins this, or not. Sorry, my bad. The team that beat NRG. Okay, the spiritual
You
success.
can't pick NRG. Okay.
I am with Corelli that G2 wins this event. I really do think that G2 is going to win it. And watching them play yesterday, I was so impressed, especially at the 0-second play, how hard it is to phase G2 at any time. And really, with the experience that all three of these players have had now, I don't know if they will get nervous unless it's a world championship grand final. You know, they've done everything other than overcome that barrier. And with the way that they were playing yesterday, especially Atomic, both defensively and offensively, G2 look unstoppable. I think
we don't need to hear more about G2. We just heard it all from Crowley, and we're going to all get from James.
Hey, you asked.
Do not say G2.
Yeah, you asked us, man.
You asked.
All right, so I'll explain my pick when we get into our kickoff match because I'm going Gen.G, obviously, because they're playing G2 early on. But to save time, Wave, go ahead. We'll talk more about that.
That is a logical pick, a very logical pick, Gibbs. I very much understand because I think Dignitas is going to win it all, folks. We're right after that, baby. The aliens are going all the way to the top. They're taking down Complexity. They played them round 1 on Friday. They only lost that match because they dropped the first 2 games because they were warming up. They were bad losses. They came right back, nearly reverse sweeped them, nearly, almost so close. And then we're going to do it this time. This, folks, we got a whole extra game. We got 2 extra games. Dignitas to the top of 100 years, baby. I'm ready for it. This is going to be great. Folks, get in chat with me if you believe Dignitas is going to win it all. This is amazing.
I don't think you're going to have many.
No one can disagree with me.
Again, you have a whole whiteboard, Corelli.
Corelli, you're not even putting it in the middle of the screen, man.
You're not even using all the ink. Look,
you saw what it said.
Come on, get a better
If
mark.
it was based on drawing ability,
Mine's
then
kind of
Dignitas will win.
That's
Not because of Wave.
Hey, Gibbs, I
I can't
appreciate the logo. Appreciate the logo.
Yeah,
So just
I
writing the
tried.
team name.
I tried.
Let's talk through the schedule today, folks. We are 6 minutes and 50 seconds away from getting into our first match of the day. We got so much money on the line, $30K going to the top team. We're handing that money out today. We're handing out, what is this, $59,000 today? No, you got to double that second one there. 68K going out. We were so close to greatness for today, folks. But we got 3 matches to play. We got a grand finals waiting at the end for 2 teams. Who's going to win? We just picked who we thought was going to win. Maybe it's Complexity, the only team that didn't get picked. We'll see Complexity take on Dignitas. But before that, we're going to see G2 Esports taking on Gen.G Mobile 1 Racing, the battle of the G's here, folks. I cannot believe we've got this match in the semifinals. One of these teams is missing grands. This could easily have been a grand finals in a different alternate reality here. But these 2 teams about to take each other on, James. It's going to be a battle.
It really is. And I am looking at 2 players in particular. I think Atomic and Chronic are those 2 guys that I'm keeping an eye on. Chronic, he's now, I mean, he actually took G2 down in a very similar situation as yesterday when he hit that series winning double tap off the backboard. He's done that before against G2. I think Chronic has really elevated himself in my eyes as that clutch shooter in those big situations. But Atomic is the same guy on the other end. He is such a well-versed all-around player. It's going to be a shootout between those 2. That's who I'm looking at. There other players certainly can step up, but that's who I'm going to be watching.
I like to think that Sathu doesn't know that he was on camera there, and he's just leaning back in his chair.
That's probably the case.
So this is an interesting matchup because I do feel like we come out of major. Obviously, it's all Gen.G. They have so much confidence. G2, not a lot of confidence coming out of that major. They didn't look good through all fall split, but now they've looked like the best team in the tournament, at least if you look at their stats. But when you look at their matchup against NRG, and I know you guys want to praise NRG a lot, NRG did not beat anyone that good in this tournament. They beat Optic, M80, and Pittsburgh Knights. And then G2 should have probably lost that matchup if NRG could close out and actually shoot the ball. So I don't know if G2 was that good yesterday compared to a Gen.G playing Furia. And I get Furia didn't look that good, but Gen.G does that to teams a lot. And Furia was a group winner. So Gen.G, when it comes to brackets, and last time they played in this exact spot. It was a semifinal fall regional 3, the fall invitational, and that was a 4-0 sweep for Gen.G. Gen.G has the head-to-head. They are the fall major champions. They have looked fantastic when it matters, and that's during bracket play. I don't see how you can pick against them when they're playing against a G2
Gibbs,
that looked shaky versus NRG.
That is the most boring explanation I've ever heard from you in my entire life, Gibbs. My goodness, I was snoozing through that.
I was asleep when you said something correct.
Good. I'm glad I could wake you up. Gibbs, what were you watching during the Gen.G series then?
I was watching.
Convincing that was not the most convincing performance for them. Yeah, they had some great plays, but that also wasn't the best Furia I've ever seen either. And Gen.G, I don't think were that convincing against them.
Even apparently Jack said he wasn't feeling that great about how they played.
And they still
apparently Jack said that was
every day. Yeah.
He said this is the biggest slump they've been in, and they're still winning. They have yet to miss a grand finals once they made it to this step. I'm a little confused how G2 could possibly be the favorite here.
But G2 only won because Energy hit the crossbar 20 times.
G2
was
only
one
won
game.
because they were clutch. Did you see the fake from Chicago and the top bin shot from Atomic? You can't say it was just NRG rolling over. G2, they stepped up and they made that win happen. They took advantage of the fact that G2 missed a single shot off the crossbar. Gibbs, you got to give G2 some credit here. I
do give them credit, but I'm
no,
not
you
saying
didn't.
they
No,
are
you didn't. You said they should have lost.
Versus Gen.G.
Gibbs, you're lost.
I'm just not saying
you're lost.
they're the favorite versus Gen.G. You cannot say that. There's
Gibbs,
no
you could use the same argument for the Gen.G Furia match too. Furia was hitting the crossbar left and right.
If they even got a shot off.
I don't think it matters because it's Gen.G and bracket play.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I don't think it matters. I'm just saying.
I
I'm saying, like, at best, you could put them on equal footing, but it's bracket play and Gen.G. Their last head-to-head, they dominated them. I don't see how you can have G2
you got
as
the valid
favorite.
We got to pick one of them. If you think they're equal, we're asked to pick one.
We are pretty split down the middle.
They're close.
I mean, we are.
Like, I'm not saying it's a landslide.
Gibbs said he thinks Gen.G is going to win. Me and you said G2 wins this whole tournament. So that kind of settles it. Wave Punk is the only one who's going on a different strategy here.
Give me Dignitas here, folks. This match somehow from the other semifinals. It's going to be crazy stuff, folks. But it is time for us to get into the gameplay. And you know what? I mean, I'm curious on who chat's going to favor here because it's pretty obvious who we're picking.
Yeah, who has the biggest fans? I feel like it's going to be Gen.G because apparently Jack has been blowing up. Yeah, his content game has been next level.
I'm looking at chat though; it's pretty split. It's not. I don't know. You're just
looking at you're looking at just what they're saying. Don't we have a percentage thing that? Will pop up?
I mean, I'm trying to eyeball it before I find out the empirical evidence that is collected here, folks. This is going to be crazy stuff. We can just quickly throw up our own predictions because this is how we do it on pre-show. Just going down the line. Corelli, who you got?
G2. Put me down for G2.
James.
G2.
Gibbs.
Gen.G.
Give me Gen.G on this one, folks. We're split exactly down the middle on the desk. But how does chat feel about it? Because we got to know who's got the big one here.
Okay, yeah. I think this is pretty good.
That's fair. Like I'm saying, G2's going to win. This is probably a game 7 in my mind. They're close. So I have to pick one though.
Yeah, you really can't count Gen.G out. They won the stinking major. Okay.
I don't know. Like I would say game 6. You know, I don't think G2.
Wow.
Thank you, Gibbs. You're so generous.
Yeah. Come on. I at least want game 7. I want game 7 right off the bat. Give me 21 games. Go the whole distance. It's going to be a wild one. This is the crazy match because whoever comes out of this is the favorite in the finals. Can we all agree on that?
Yes, 100%.
Unless
whoever
wins
this series is winning it all.
I don't think so,
Complexity,
actually.
I don't know.
If Gen.G wins, then they have to play Complexity? Yeah, I don't know.
They are the favorites on paper, but we'll see how they play later with Complexity. Yeah.
If Gen.G, who has not missed a grand finals since they formed as a team, including majors and regionals, makes it to the grand finals, they're not the favorite against Complexity. Crowley's crazy, folks. Let's get into the first
They lost 2 left. Split.
Get up and get
What are you talking about, Lee?
It's going to be amazing, folks. We've got Dorby and Subi in the call. Let's play some Rocket League.
This show.
Well, the desk is going to take a best of 7 to relax a little bit and chill. Corelli a little upset at Wave Punk at the end, and Wave Punk not going to let him hear it, Snoopy, but this is going to be a banger for sure.
Tensions run high on the desk. Tensions are about to run high on the field. We've got 2 of North America's best taking the pitch in the semifinals, and Gen.G looking to... Well, that's not how they wanted to start this out.
Looking to get scored on. Apparently, Jack trying to line this up with Atomic, and the timing as he jumps, Atomic goes low on his reset, and the bounce ends up killing Jack there. So,
wow.
Not something we were used to seeing this weekend with Gen.G is their defense giving up an easy one. But here we are. G2 will start with the first one.
Rare mechanical miscue there from Jack. I don't know if he just kind of fell off that side wall or controller might have slipped out of his hands, whatever it was. Don't expect to see a lot of that. Jack, one of the most consistent players that we've seen in North America this season, and he gets it by the entire defense. Look at this nice little ground pinch to put it up.
But G2 wanted to give them it right back. Chicago and JNabs both double commit. Chicago tries to go low. JNabs goes over him. I think Chicago was trying to get down. JNabs called him off. And then Atomic is just left by himself. Oh, I guess this is happening. The ball's over my head.
Well, a little bit of rust shaking off on both sides in the first 30 seconds here in game number 1. And like I was saying before, Jorby, Gen.G looking to get to their 4th straight grand finals. Be something that hasn't happened too many times in the history books, as JNabs has Atomic in tow, but can't quite find him in 1v1 where Jack shines best. And again, mechanical miscue. Interesting from apparently Jack early on.
A little bit more warm-up would have helped for both teams. Definitely shaky to start out. Some mechanical gaffes and some defensive gaffes. But Chronic trying to connect with Nolly downfield, and how good were those two yesterday against Furia? Really, how good have they been the entire tournament? Chronic underneath this one again. Gen.G starting to stabilize. Jack playing deep, comes up, 2 touches, but Chicago denies him.
And G2 had a hard-fought victory over NRG. You can see the pain on James's face on the desk as they were talking about that series. They looked really good, though. But that being said, G2, one of the best so far this season. They did so great in fall. And here in winter, even better. Top in a lot of statistical categories. You talk about score per game, shots per game, assists per game, goals per game. They're top 2 in all of those. So far, Gen.G doing a great job at keeping that offense at bay.
I mean, who's sitting right next to him at the top of the leaderboards? It's Gen.G. Having some of the best offense there is, complemented with a great defense. So far is not faced a ton of pressure from G2. See what Chicago can do from the midfield. Chronic and Nolly both working, keeping G2 honest, and they're unable to pressure them. Jack's gonna get out. Nolly trying to bully them. Jack held on as long as possible, but Atomic clears it out.
And interesting here for Gen.G, as we know how crucial Nolly is to this offense and to, all the victories that they've had. He's on defense here. Nice little pass over to Appjack. And with that one, Nolly puts himself up to 14 points halfway through game number 1. He's got to do a little bit more to try and get involved up and down the field.
Chronic is expecting a hit from Atomic. Atomic gives him a non-touch. JNabs just launches it, and Gen.G will have to play some more defense. No one able to really find a hole. Apparently Jack trying to break Gen.G out. Nolly gonna beat JNabs to the ball. Atomic's got no boost. Could have turned uncomfortable quickly there. Chicago had to die for it. Now Chronic full control, 43, and a flip to boot. Goal! Jack gets credit, but Chronic sets it all up.
Great pass here from Chronic, commanding respect from the defense. Gets them all to go off that goal line. And apparently Jack finishes it off. Great team passing play between Jack and Chronic there, as Gen.G take the lead late here in game number 1.
Chronic continues to impress over the course of the season, and has long been the talk, part of the talk of this Gen.G squad. I mean, there's so much that you can say about all 3 of these players, but Chronic getting picked up and still continuing to produce into the winter split. G2, despite holding on to the midfield, didn't really get a lot of quality opportunities, really opportunities at all, only 2 shots on net, but we're able to commit on 1, or convert on 1, excuse me. JNabs picking up a demo. Atomic looking for the read, but again knocked away by Chronic, who heads downfield against JNabs. Not a lot of boost for him, wants the dunk. JNabs ain't letting it happen. Nolly on the turn, wanted a pass, but Jack was playing it close. Chronic lays it up, JNabs cuts him off.
These lateral passes are starting to dissect the defense here from G2 Esports. And G2, not a lot of time left here to get 1 goal. All they need is 1 opportunity, as JNabs pushes forward into the corner looking for bumps and gets a nice little flick, but couldn't get that boost as Nolly fully boosted up, gonna push the ball downfield and can't quite find the shot, but Chronic gets his first of the series and puts Gen.G up by 2.
He battered the corner here with this shot. Good power. JNAP, not a terrible spot to sit, but I mean, Chronic shot so hard. Won't know the speed that it had entering the net after it hit the bar, but man, another one there for Chronic. 2 assists, that's his first goal. Gen.G, after that initial mistake, I don't really feel like they've given much to G2. Sure, they've given them the midfield, but they haven't given them any shots. They haven't given them any control beyond grabbing those midfield boosts, beyond keeping the ball contained. They can contain, but they can't command. And game 1 goes to Gen.G.
Yeah, G2, when this ball hits the ground right now, only gonna total 2 shots on target through 5 minutes of gameplay. So great job from Gen.G Mobile 1 to get the job done, not only offensively, but also just kind of boxing G2 Esports in and controlling the midfield like you were alluding to. And for G2, you know, they're playing hesitant. They're playing a little too, with too much respect for Gen.G. Yes, we know how good Gen.G are, but there comes a point in time where eventually you've got to take some risks. You've got to roll the dice. And that's what we need to see here in game number 2 from G2 Esports.
Well, I think that, you know, G2, they did have a lot of opportunities or starts of opportunities. They did get possession of the ball, but then, like, what did they do beyond the third? They weren't able to do anything. I mean, no shots, despite them being in the midfield as often as they were. And Gen.G, I mean, that's the difficult thing. I think Chronic was the biggest player in game number 1.
For sure.
Perfect control, able to break through G2's midline. Gen.G start off strong. We had the Forbidden Temple, G2 trying to get things figured out. Atomic with a little car switch, and apparently Jack with a reset, but there's JNAPS again, who's been tasked on defense for most of the series so far.
And in game 1, it's not like G2 were playing bad by any stretch of the imagination. Playing almost perfect Rocket League, but it's the little things that matter. As Atomic, great save there on the goal line. Nolly up, can't quite find the double touch there, but it's the little things. And you go back to that last goal from Chronic off of the transition from Nolly all the way downfield where JNAPS was pressuring up into Gen.G's half, and you got to think, okay, what happens if JNAPS does get that boost? He was just a few feet away from that boost pad, and if he steals that boost, it completely changes the entirety of that play. So it's just those small things. Go for boost pads, go for a little bump, just something to change Gen.G's playstyle just slightly.
Chronic. Oh, he caught Chicago out. Chicago couldn't dive back in time. Apparently Jack picks up the first goal for Gen.G.
Yeah, Chicago caught on an island there, couldn't catch up to the ball, and just great vision from Chronic to launch that ball forward. And you love those plays where it's good enough to be a shot, but it's an even better pass, and apparently Jack rattles that one home as Nolly avoids the demo. Can't avoid the bump there from JNAPS, but Chronic versus Chicago, 1v1. Chronic can't get the shot, and Chicago turns it away.
Good patience from Chicago, but more defense to be played, and JNAP stretches, but he grabs it. Nolly off the ceiling. Still a lot of control here for Gen.G. Pass over, and that one right back over Atomic's hood. G2 look like they're gonna break out. JNAPS lost the ball on his reset. Now Jack on the transition. You give Gen.G 1 inch on the ball, and they just put it right back in your half every time. They just don't allow a single mistake or a single wrong step on offense. And they get you beat again. Here's Chronic, one-on-one. Chicago got demoed, and he got destroyed. 2-0.
Oh, look at the power he gets behind this ball. Catches up and just puts a cut on it. Great play there from Chronic, recognizing the space he was afforded from the defense of G2. And Gen.G running away here in game number 2. The pressure is constant, and G2, no offense to speak of. 0 shots on target to 7 from Gen.G.
And Suvi, it looks a lot like the start of the Furia series did for Gen.G, where just nothing is going right for G2. They're losing every challenge. They're late to the ball. They have no boost. That's a great shot, but Chronic makes the grab. They get a couple of opportunities here or there, but Gen.G don't really give them any more.
Yeah, it's just no sustainability, right? It's the offense going into the corners like this, but there's Jack to control the ball, and then no follow-up. They're just playing so spread out right now. And again, it's the respect that they're giving to Gen.G, but when does that respect turn into fear? Because the way they're playing right now, it looks like they're shaking in their boots, not sure how to handle this Gen.G offense and defense.
They had to lob the ball away just earlier, and now it's battle of challenges to get control of the ball. Gen.G, quick rotation around their corner. They make light work of G2's next attempt. The drive gets pushed the whole way back to the blue. Atomic looking for J-Naps, but Nolly following the whole way and flushed him out to the side. Nolly blocking the center angle, allowing Chronic to come in and clean it up. Jack coming in on the rotation and keeps things clean for Gen.G despite G2 getting close to the box. Where do you see the real threat? There's always a Gen.G car there shadowing, cutting off an angle, allowing teammates to take away the other options. And G2 actually just gonna have to start finding ways to take these players off the field if they can't beat them in the rotation.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to do it. Look for the demos, look for bumps, be aggressive, but another way is infield passes or just passing plays in general, because this 1v1 style of play, you're not going to win when apparently Jack's on the other side of the pitch with Gen.G.
They simply don't have the space though. That's why I'm saying the rotation is just so perfect, and they cut off those passing angles. Where can G2 pass when they move downfield? They're always immediately challenged. Chronix always has full boost. There's always a response. G2 lobbing the ball downfield.
Exactly. It might help by keeping that ball a little closer, having better ball control instead of just bombing it downfield like that. That's not going to do anything. Well, it might. It's a little mistake from Nolly, but you got to keep that ball closer and pull Gen.G out, because right now, with them sitting on the goal line and you bombing that ball downfield, all you're doing is turning that ball over and putting yourself back on defense.
How long did we just spend in the orange half? G2 trying to work around. Never felt like they had full control. They only have 4 shots. All of them owned by Atomic. Gen.G putting the clamp down on G2. And Forbidden Temple belongs to them. 2-0, and they're making it look easy.
Well, and realistically, when you rewind the clock back to that only goal from G2, it's like a half goal. Let's be real. That was a weird mistake from Jack. You saved that 99 times out of 99 and a half. So it's almost like a clean shutout right now for Gen.G, and G2 has had 0 offense to speak of. Atomic, the only one to get a shot on target. And with that being said, it looks like Chicago's calling for a timeout for his squad, and couldn't have called it any earlier. You need the timeout to figure out what's going wrong on offense.
Yeah, nothing's working. You can't get control of the ball. You can't get a 50. So what's the approach? You take an extra minute and you take a deep breath, because you're absolutely right. Their only success came off of a Jack mistake, excuse me. And this G2 team, they can get it figured out, but they need their star to pop up. They need Atomic. I feel like J-Naps has done, I don't feel like, I've seen J-Naps play well on defense in this series. Atomic in this game in particular had some good rotations on defense as well, but where's the control? Where is the ability to actually make Gen.G respond to you on offense? Because when you get to the orange half, you're the one responding to Gen.G's defense, and it's got to be the other way around.
Again, yeah, it's just got to be, I think you called it perfectly. It's got to come off of the hand of aggression. You've got to rotate through, look for a bump, look for a demo. And even if you don't, you're forcing a defender to move off their line. You're forcing them out of their rotation, even if it's just slightly. And at this level of play, all you need is those inches or millimeters to make a difference in the game. So for G2, yeah, it's not working bombing the ball downfield. It's not working pushing the ball into the corner. It's not working trying to go for the little rinky-dink passes. So you got to change things up just slightly, because Gen.G playing unfazed right now. And with all of that being said, we're looking at a Gen.G squad that isn't playing to their full potential. which is crazy to say because they're shutting G2 out right now. Nolly is not playing up to par whatsoever. We know what he brings to the table, and this ain't it. He's having an off day, which is perfectly fine. You're gonna have those, and that's what good teammates are for. Chronic and apparently Jack bringing him up and lifting him onto their shoulders and saying, hey, we get it. It's all good. We're gonna play perfectly. And he's playing defense, doing what he can. But for G2, you gotta capitalize when all three members of a squad aren't on the same page.
Let's see if that extra minute helps G2 out. We'll see how they change things up. They weren't really winning challenges. They weren't able to win the boost. So hard to plan around that. And there's carry that gets knocked out midfield, but a nice win from J-Naps. Was hoping for something nicer. He chases the ball over to Chicago. And now Jack forces Atomic to turn tail. Jack all by himself sets it up, but Gen.G are playing so far back. Chronic just gets a free shot.
Oh my gosh.
And G2 are lucky it's not 1-0.
Wow, miscomms on the back end. It looked like a case of, oh, he's got it. No, no, no. You've got it, as Atomic pushes it back downfield, and G2 get away with one there. And we're already seeing a change in the style of offense from G2. We saw a nice close to the chest air dribble, and Chronic off the ceiling. That would have been incredible. Doesn't come to fruition, but Nolly has Chronic. Infield pass, looking for the 1-2-1. One too many touches there, and Gen.G can't get a goal.
Certainly. They got Atomic to bite early on it. Chronic shoots on that side. It's a Gen.G goal, but they haven't lost the ball. G2. Back downfield. Apparently Jack just launching this one. Back over to J-Naps. We'll see what they can do once it gets downfield. Is Nolly going to give him a chance? He does. Back to Chicago. Gives it right back to Nolly. And a couple of trading power touches. As Jack falls back onto the ball. Nobody can really gain full control. Chicago puts Nolly under pressure. He makes the save. Up next to him is Chronic, and Jack trying to swing across Chicago. Pulls off the challenge at the last second, and J-Naps comes in, steals the ball. Atomic's on the left side, and Chicago comes in to help J-Naps. Now G2 starting to press.
Here we go.
Back around to the corner, but Gen.G still managing.
G2 circling like sharks now. It seems like the speed definitely a factor here. Is Chronic finds the double, can't tuck it in, and Nolly gonna finish it off. Gen.G make it look so easy out of the transition.
Just when it started to look good, J-Naps goes wide, expecting that 50 to come through. Chicago just couldn't get the read. J-Naps comes across and comes so hard off the back wall, or the backboard, that he has to wait, and that's the worst spot to be in as a defender. And of course, Nolly is gonna slot it. Chicago, he just drills one himself, and G2 wastes no time.
Yeah, great communication here. J-Naps setting his sights on Chronic, and like I said earlier, you might not make contact. You might not get the bump, but you force him out of his line. He's forced in the air, and it's just wide open for Chicago. And G2 Esports knot us all up a few seconds later.
Still gonna have to stop this! Nolly drops it in front. Apparently, Jack, he lays out the picnic rug. He's putting down his basket in front of the box, and he's eating pretty good right now. Great goal.
That's the only place that ball could have went for Nolly. Great vision, recognizing if he puts the shot on target, it's fully covered up. Instead, he just lays it up for apparently Jack. And that passing combo was pretty.
A ball for Chicago. She beats a defender. And the ball just skirts back out. Chronic just sits on that one, lets Chicago drill it into him. He knows that ball's just going to kick out into safety. Oh, look at this pass to J-Naps, but it's cut off. Chicago setting up Atomic, but apparently Jack is there. Now Chicago by himself. Takes the ball to the corner. Gen.G, 2-goal lead. Almost feel insurmountable considering how hard it has been to score on them. G2 only able to get 1 goal at any time in the series so far.
Oh my gosh, the disrespect. They're pre-jumping. Chronic was trying to clip on him. And they're only up by 1. That's how confident Gen.G are right now. They're just saying, G2, you're not showing us anything that we haven't seen before.
This is the biggest slump they've ever been in. Didn't you hear what Jack said? Like, this isn't even their full
so
final
crazy.
form. You know, it's like Super Jack like 6, where he gets like the monkey tail. Like That's 5, but
I'm just going to nod my head and say I know what you're talking about, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Chronic gonna back pass this one to Jack, and he gets a perfect roll, but well, I thought it was a little better for Chronic to grab. Instead, G2 are just trying to find any amount of time where they can actually get control of this in the final minute. Jack just launches it downfield. J-Naps gets cut off by Chronic, had the read. G2 spread out on defense. Gen.G hunt the gaps, fill them, and there's nothing G2 can do. But wait, they might get one here with Chicago. 1 touch, 2 touches, but to the right side. J-Naps, not a lot of boost. Gets the first 50, but G2 are still rotating in. Atomic had nowhere to go with the ball, and a free clear for Gen.G. Transition, cut off by Chronic, and he gets the second touch as Nolly jumps with him.
Of course he does. I mean, the ball is just falling in their laps right now as J-Nap up, looking for a double, can't find it, is turned away off the crossbar, and G2, again, just can't buy a goal. 15 seconds to go, down 1.
J-Naps underneath, and get away from him, no dunk. But G2 pressure at the end. Big clear, Atomic taking Nolly out of the play momentarily. J-Naps has Chronic backwards. Apparently Jack up for the 50. 1 towards the box. Chicago and Atomic can't find the ball. Gen.G 1 away from sweeping G2 out of the regional.
Oh boy, tough mountain to climb here for G2 Esports. They've found themselves in a 3-game hole. And on top of that, they've got to pull off the reverse sweep. You got to play perfect from here on out. It's going to be tough, but if Game 3 told us anything, it's that G2 does have the potential to score, and they do have the potential to get shots on Gen.G. 10 shots here in game number 3. But man, Jorby, it's just tough when Gen.G, they're playing so fluid, and it just seems so effortless, whereas G2 just seems so stiff and just so rigid and unable to adapt to what Gen.G's throwing their way.
Big for Gen.G here, it's impressive the run that they've been on, but like most times when a team takes a timeout, for a while that was, a great strategy to get yourself a game win. Well, Gen.G are rewriting that one. They're 8-3 after an opponent calls a timeout. But I just think that's a product that they're just so good they cause that many timeouts. And then they're too good that nobody can really adjust and make it happen. And it's got to make you wonder, what have Complexity figured out as Nolly puts in the first goal against G2? Because they're the only team that has seemed to figure out how to beat them. G2 can't figure it out. They double commit and they get scored on.
Can G2 phone a friend right now and ask? Is that allowed?
I don't think so.
Oh, all right. Well, then tough luck, because it doesn't matter right now as Gen.G up 1, put themselves in the driver's seat in game number 4. And it was pretty, as Nolly was just kind of sitting, waiting. Great vision, great recognition to not rotate out, and that ball just fell right into his lap. And G2, it's only 1 goal that they have to climb their way back from, but my goodness, this little molehill seems like it's Mount Everest.
G2 looking for their ice picks, but it's an avalanche. Jack coming across. The ball came flying back. Nolly with the fake. Chronic back to Jack, and that's the danger. Yeah, I remember James saying yesterday during Gen.G's match against Furia that there's just so many different ways Gen.G can slice you on offense. And they'll do it. They'll use every single tool in the arsenal. The 3-man pass! The 3-man slice! And G2 are cut up!
The 3-man weave on offense. Jack to Nolly, Nolly to Chronic. And it's a 1-2-3 right in the box. G2 absolutely roasted on the back line. And Gen.G up by 2.
Gen.G just gave them the G2 special. Like, that's something G2 does. And they're usually one of the better, people usually can't match G2 with that. Gen.G just did it. And they did it with command. Apparently Jack trying to push that ball out. G2, just no answer for this Gen.G team. Atomic trying to find, oh my God, Chronic's already in the air for that. Jumping up for that, he just levitates. It doesn't matter. You try to catch him out on a 50. It doesn't matter what you do. You can switch your preset. You can switch your boost. You can switch your camera settings. But Gen.G are going to score on you.
Oh, Jack, that is filthy. Personal foul on the back line, but it doesn't matter as the goal counts. Gen.G running away with game 4. Looking like they're going to pull off the sweep in style.
This is a K-Corp level smackdown right now. Chronic. Back over to the corner. G2, what do you got to say? You have plenty of time left to try to right this ship, but it feels like the song's already been written. They could throw some Discord in there. Get a couple more bars before the song finally ends. Atomic back over to J-Naps, and no contact. When it rains, it pours, doesn't it?
It's a hurricane, Cat 5. And G2 will get the first shot there as J-Nap's going to finish that one
Okay.
off. A little mechanical mistake from Gen.G, and that's just what G2 needs to give him a kick in the rear end.
Absolutely. That was a great touch from Atomic. Put it up high. Chronic has an inner angle. It's going to be hard to get up there with speed. So a perfect pass and a good swap from J-Naps. Like we said earlier, plenty of time now, especially now down 2 goals. Building that confidence. J-Naps lost the ball. Chronic puts it right back where it belonged. A 3-goal lead.
Just a magnet on this ball, and it's attracted to the blue net as Dolly. Chronic was already in the air. It's not fair. How do you stop this? Gen.G firing on all cylinders.
Chronic's playing like 2 seconds into the future, where he's in the right spot before G2's touch ever comes out. He just knows what's gonna happen.
Oh.
Jack, that was an easy pick. He sees the pass come down. He knows he's got him beat. And it's a slaughter.
Oh, it's just a book being read. He saw that one from a mile away and just tucks it in the blue net. Gen.G can do no wrong.
It's quite impressive what this team has been able to do ever since they formed. It's been like a 6-month honeymoon. When is this team gonna chill out? Maybe, going into this, think like, wow, G2, they look good against NRG. Gen.G absolutely top Furia, but like, surely G2 aren't gonna get Brazil, right? That's not gonna happen in this series.
Oh, it's a masterclass. That's what we're watching of transitional passes. My goodness, they are running the field, running the floor, and running G2 out of the arena.
Did you just send that man downfield? And there's nobody from G2 to challenge. Everybody is playing with their tails facing Gen.G, hoping they can trap that ball, but nobody's trapping that go-ahead man. And they're getting absolutely bopped. G2, a risky pass to J-Naps, but risk is about all you can take right now.
Oh, you gotta bet your mortgage right now if you're G2 to try and win this game.
Cleared again. At this point, I was on Atomic's cam and he just spammed his rear view camera in frustration back on the rotation, just unable to hang on to the ball. That little bit of car language. Definitely gotta feel frustrated if you're G2.
Oh boy.
There it is. Oh, almost.
It was so close.
Couldn't quite get there. After taking out Brazil, Gen.G want to put a Brazil on G2's record. But they just can't quite get there just yet. Wait, Jack might have it. Dunk? No dunk.
No dunk for you. No dunk for you. And right now, yeah, Gen.G just having fun with it. You can tell they're looking for some more highlight goals. And Chronic sitting up on the backboard, hits that one away. 60 seconds to go here in game number 4, where Gen.G started off sloppy. That own goal, basically. We'll call it from Jack.
For like a minute, right?
Yeah, and then Nolly taking 2 games to wake up, but boy, oh boy, has he been unlocked. And he's pretty much been involved. No, not pretty much. He has been involved.
There it is!
All 6.
Oh, the BM!
Turned away!
Oh, Nolly went for the BM play. I'm pretty sure if he shoots that just goes in, but he wanted to fake him out. Wait, here it is! Oh, he just missed it! G2, can they kill the Brazil attempt right here? Atomic gets the Goomba stomp. J-Naps pushes it across. Chicago has a chance. Got the fake, pumps it up, but Jack is there. They won't let him have it. Chicago, back pass over to J-Naps, and that's about as hype as I can make a 6-1.
Oh, we can make it even more hype if it turns into a 7-1 as Doesn't look like, oh, the phone, it might just happen. Nolly keeps it alive. Can they go the distance? Not gonna, oh, they.
Uh-oh.
I'm not gonna.
He's downfield. He's already downfield.
I'm not gonna talk.
Wait, Nolly? Josh got no boost. He's got no boost. Wait a minute.
No way, no way.
It's working. Chronic's got boost. It's down, that's down. It's over. Gen.G sweep the semifinal. It might as well look like a round one matchup. The whole tournament, unless you run into complexity, apparently. But man.
Yeah, agreed. That's the best way to put it, Jordy. I don't know. That's the best way to describe it. Gen.G, as you see Illusion and Sathu putting his head in his hands saying, what in the world just happened? That's one of the best coaches in the game, and he is perplexed. Just how did that happen? What did they do? Because G2 completely dismantled after that one.
I just don't think there's much more you can say. Obviously, G2 disappointed that, you know, they couldn't have a better performance in that series. But honestly, when you look at what Gen.G have done to almost every other team in this tournament, you really got to wonder, is anyone going to stop them? And there's only one team that just may, but they still have a match to play. And we're getting there right after the break. Dignitas versus Complexity. Can Complexity get over the hump, or will Dignitas continue their Cinderella run? Find out after the break.
You can save an average of 2 times more with our smart savings tools. For everything we want, we're all better off with an ally.
Tries to send one to the back of the net, and he will triple touch. You said the double might work out. How about a triple?
Oh my! This time, fire! Try to clear this away. Let me call up with the back. Picked up the save. It's still there for two. They scored!
We on the top and we ain't gonna fall. It's an obsession, a habit you call. We hitting automatic, never stall. Only got one tactic, do it all. I'm from the bottom, I hate what I saw. I couldn't walk, so I learned how to crawl. They wanna talk when you're back to the wall. So I say let them, I ain't moving small. Money grows from my intuition. I just bought a crib, that's my first edition. People hate it when you claim a vision, but I use a static when I hit ignition. Hungry moves, I'm faster in a minute. I stay fresh to death, I'm in a mint condition. Forge a heat, no matter where I've been, and give me any place and it'll be a kitchen. This how we flow to the top. I'm on a wave and it never gonna stop. I hit a 3, now we running the clock. 24 seconds, I still block your shot. I'm making this an eternal spot. Permanent stain in the flow, ink blot. Don't step to me when I get too hot. I'ma end your life and it's all you got. We on the top and we ain't gonna fall. This an obsession, a habit you call. We hitting automatic, never stall. Only got one tactic, do it all. I'm from the bottom, I hate what I saw. I couldn't walk, so I learned how to crawl. They wanna talk when you're back to the wall. So I say let them, I ain't moving small. Homemade flow, I'm a PVC. There ain't one player out doing just like me. Heart rate froze, check the EKG. I hate wasting time, no eventually. Routine work when nobody see, but I ain't feel the stress, I know it's meant to be. 30 beats, I'm on a killing spree. I made every song in my discography. Yeah, that's every cent, every dollar. I ain't tryna listen to a broke scholar. Making moves to make the money taller. To the cash topping on the Eiffel Tower. Labels calling, I won't wear the collar. With my own drive, I can take it farther. Do it myself, don't ever bother. Been self-made now, shout out to my father. We on the top and we ain't gonna fall. This an obsession, a habit you call. We hitting automatic, never stall. Only got one tactic, do it all. I'm from the bottom, I hate what I saw. I couldn't walk, so I learned how to crawl. They wanna talk when you're back to the wall. So I say let them, I ain't moving small.
If you took a 5-minute nap, you might have missed a series in between. Gen.G put on a clinic, and G2 just had absolutely no answer for it. They continue to rinse an entire region, and apparently Jack, none other than himself with me. Now, Jack, I know that you said in your interview yesterday that you guys are like in the biggest slump of your life. And in the first 5 seconds of this series, I almost believed you. But then the rest of it, now I'm a little sus, man. Tell me what was going through your head after that.
Yeah, so obviously we conceded that goal, or I conceded that goal. I just completely messed up. And my hands went cold. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have a bad series. Luckily, I scored like a really nice solo play about 10, 15 seconds later, probably. And I was confident from then on, and we started clicking, and we performed really well.
I think clicking might be an understatement. You guys are straight up dominating your competition. And I know that you've stated that you haven't been happy with how you guys have been playing even before this tournament. But what do you think it is that you guys are doing that no other team can seem to figure out? Because these games are not close.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds really like cocky and big-headed, but I think that I've always said this, or I've said it for a while now. Like, no one really thinks about how to play the game. It's just like they just kind of go. And I think we, the first teams, properly think a lot in a while. So yeah, I think we're thinking more, and obviously it helps, like natural synergy. We have it, and we're very fortunate. But yeah, we're very fortunate. It's not all hard work. Of course, it's down to luck. But yeah, it's good.
So are you saying that like the 3-man tactical pre-jump offense is the thinking man's game in Rocket League?
Yeah, maybe that's the meta nowadays. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's it like to even when you feel like you're not playing well? Like Chronic had an excellent series.
Yeah.
Like, I know you've talked a lot about Chronic and having him on the team, but he seems to get better and better with every single series. Like, what is the vibe with him like in the day-to-day whenever you guys are, in tournament play or just in general, like team vibe?
Yeah, so with Chronic, I don't think he'd mind me saying, he's a very nervous player naturally. And it helps because I'm a very nervous player naturally. So I think that I know what he's feeling, so it helps. I can help him with that, and he helps me with that. So we can't just click off each other. So every series, he's getting more and more relaxed and just performing. And even if he is nervous, he just performs insane. Nolly had a really insane series yesterday. Nolly's passing was great today. Chronic was just playing lights out today. And I was just filling in the slots today and yesterday. So it's good to know that, even if I'm not feeling like the greatest player in the world right now, the team kind of synergy is just on a different level.
You may end up facing Complexity again. You guys were in the same group in the tournament, and they're the only team that seems to have your guys' number. Granted, all 3 best of 5s, but you guys are 0-3 against Complexity. What's working for them that doesn't that you think you guys haven't been able to figure out?
We have a very big mental block against Complexity right now. I don't mind being, public and open about that. They were our first series ever in RLCS, and we lost that 3-0, and I think it kind of just snowballed from there. I think as soon as we get 1 win against them, we'll be fine, but we just need to scrape that 1 win. With the form we're in right now, I think we can do it, but it's going to be really tough. Complexity are looking like a top 3 side in NA at least right now, potentially even top 2 or top 1, so they're looking really, really good. It'll be tough, but obviously Dig, they can take that as well.
Quick shot. Do you think they beat Dignitas, or do you have Dignitas taking Complexity?
With the way Dig played yesterday, I think Evo in particular, they're very confident. I think that they can definitely beat Complexity, but I don't think they will. I think Complexity, I'll give it like 4-2, but I think it'd be close. Yeah, I don't think Dig can shut Complexity out, but I think Complexity can shut Dig out, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean, Jack. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, man. I'll let you sit back and relax before you have to play your grand final, and we'll throw it back to Wave in the desk.
Appreciate it, Joby.
There's no other way to put it. Gen.G pulverized G2 into the ground that series. It wasn't even close after the first goal there. Gen.G, again, their floor is confirmed to only be grand finals. They cannot do worse than top 2 here. They will play for another title.
And apparently Jack was saying it's turning into a thinking man's game, and this desk was not thinking that hard last time. At least James and Pirelli weren't, because they were saying G2 were the favorites coming into this matchup. No, Gen.G, 5 grand finals in a row. That's a record, and they just seem to get better and better every day. Like on a weekend, when they can just really pinpoint who they're playing against and what that matchup is, they figure it out better than anyone else in the game right now. Gen.G, your best team in the world right now.
Well, and how fitting that apparently Jack is playing in a kitchen, because he's just cooking all the defenses. Gibbs, you like it.
There they going. I like it, folks. Here's the bracket that we have. Only 2 matches left to play. Gen.G waits in the finals for the conclusion of the next semifinal. Complexity taking on Dignitas. 2 teams that no one was really talking about before Friday, and now here they are. One of them will play in the grand finals. And picking a favorite, you heard it from Jack there, a little bit difficult. He gives the edge to Complexity, but he gave the argument why Dignitas could take this down. He sees the skill on that team as well. So this one is going to be close. Hopefully this one's not a 4-0, Gibbs.
Yeah, we have 3 teams left, and all these teams came from Group A. So Complexity, they have a rematch versus Dignitas right now. That was the very first game of Group A, where Complexity won that 3-2, but Dignitas won games 3 and 4 to make that into a series. So it seemed like Dignitas was starting to figure out what Complexity had, but Complexity has been red hot all weekend. But you look on the other side, Dignitas, we always talk about these big underdogs in NA. When they get here, they usually don't perform. When it comes down to a top 4, it's rare that they even make a top 4. But at this moment is when they usually falter. But how Dig played yesterday versus Space Station, putting up 3.5 goals per game in a long series, there's a chance. And Evo, it's his very first regional, and he's made top 4 in NA. That's a huge accomplishment.
Big old splash from Evo from Dignitas. And you were saying that Complexity playing red hot. I think Dignitas is playing even hotter this weekend. When you look back at the teams they've beaten just from the playoffs, they 3-0'd version 1. And version 1, not as dominant as they were in the past, but then they took down Space Station Gaming as well. feel like this Dignitas roster has found some fire, and they've figured out how to bottle it up.
No, and then they played.
And that's a big deal too, because when you have like a weird like third seed of Dignitas coming out of a group, you're gonna be tested throughout the playoff bracket compared to a Complexity who won Group A and was that #1 overall seed. Their playoff bracket's gonna be a little bit easier, but Dignitas was absolutely more tested throughout.
Complexity versus Dignitas was the first match of Group A. That went 3-1 Game 1, 4-3 Game 2 to Complexity, then a 2-1 3-minute overtime in Game 3 to Dignitas, a 1-0 win in Game 4, and then 2-1 in Champions Field there. So very, very close series last time they played. Absolutely can happen. Gibbs.
This South America slander in the pre-show, we saw from Twitch chat as well. Not thinking two SAM teams are making major. Look at it. South America is here. Complexity and Fury are great. Complexity wins.
Your pick is as low detail as your camera right now. I don't see this happening right. Dignitas are forever 100 years right now. They're the favorites in chat. Subi, they're gonna do it.
Oh, they're gonna do it big time. Dignitas on the princess run. Here they go, baby.
We'll see what happens, though. Complexity, they've already beaten them one time. Can they do it again, folks? Let's get down. The rematch, this time for Grand Finals. Complexity taking on Dignitas. Let's play some Rocket League.
I guarantee you, very few people had Complexity or Dignitas going into the Grand Finals when this journey started. But what a run it has been. 7 games to send somebody to face off against Gen.G in another grand final.
And both teams have had experience with Gen.G in this tournament, Stacks. Complexity has the one who you heard it from Jack in their heads mentally, so to speak, and they are going to look to really push that forward if they can get past this Dignitas team that has been surging this tournament.
These players on the Dig side have been looking for just the right roster. They've been trying to find their home, and they finally seem to have found it. Off to a fantastic start in the winter split. Regardless of the result today, they've got a leg up on most of the competition, aiming for one of those 5 major spots in North America. Here is Drees going underneath Razebull. AJG there to meet him. We said it last time Complexity played Daz. Expect a lot of scoring, and this time I think you can expect it from both sides. You've got a lot of players at or near the top in goals and assists here, including CRR closing in on 20 so far in the event. As Drees will lob one ahead, AJG's got the save, and more importantly, he'll leave that for CRR on the backboard. Great control.
Great control. It's not looking as too offensive heavy as we've seen from Complexity in the opener here. Only one shot, not too much offensive possession out in that orange box for them. I think for Dignitas, they've really excelled in the way that they've been able to carry the ball out here on the start. Look at this pass straight to Evo. Evo with that light touch. They have all the air in the midfield, and Drees hammers it home. First goal to Dig.
Drees with his 16th goal to go with 15 assists. He has been an absolute monster. And he gets the scoring started here for Dignitas. All 3 of these players, Daz, Andy, Drees, and Evo, have been doubted time and time again. I mean, Drees was a rock star on G2 when he debuted, and it felt like their fans couldn't wait to get rid of him. Now again, he's found a home, and boy, is he performing at an astronomical level.
Yeah, it looks solid. I mean, for every player on this Dignitas team, you know, the story, their journey has been a long one and not necessarily the easiest. This level of success is something that they're going to try to hold on to, but they want to see where it stops. Right now, it's looking like they could be grand finals bound. Complexity on the other side of things have struggled in terms of really kind of getting going in their flow. Maybe it's just first match of the day kind of thing for them, but haven't seen a lot of passing out in transition. There's been a lot of individual touches, not really too many bumps either. That could be also credit to Dig for bumping, for avoiding those bumps to plays, but still 1-goal game halfway through at this point as AJG tries to pass to CRR. CRR with the shot is saved by Andy and Drees.
And they both jumped for that, and one got the boost, one ended up with the ball. Here's Raisbull with Drees waiting at midfield for him. Has to dance around. Evo and Andy, last lines of defense. The backflip from Andy, inconsequential, as Evo's got this. Up ahead to Andy. Drees picking up full boost from the midfield line, and he just about had his car angled for a shot on target there off the rebound. Here goes Raisbull. Shot on, saved away by Evo.
Gotta be careful, Complexity's starting to warm up. We've seen plays like that, super successful for them yesterday. Can they continue to get that level of space in the air in the midfield is the question, because we saw that first goal from Dig. No one challenged him in the air. It was free reign. Drees was the one who scored it. He misses that one. So does AJG. And Drees will try to see if he can back pass this to his teammates. Dig don't want to give away this first goal. There's a demo by Evo. Drees has to get past AJG. Goes low, but AJG, great read.
Yeah, AJG was all amped up for a quick shot. He had to make a quick adjustment for the slow play. As Evo steals some boost out of the corner, there's a center pass for Andy, and Evo just able to get back to the center line and slow down Complexity. Drees sent on by. Evo can't stop him, but Andy can as he avoids Raisbull to make the save.
Nerves of steel from Andy on that goal line. You saw Evo and Drees both get baited, both got taken out. Andy last back and had to dodge a bump on that. Solid defensive work from Andy. That save probably keeps Dig in the game here. As 40 seconds left, they still maintain their 1-goal lead. They just have to stop this dangerous push by Complexity.
AJG will take that from Raisbull, and another shot set away by Drees. Now CRR inside 30. Drop it down for Raisbull to tie, and Andy makes that stop as well. Well, it's been Drees and Evo on the offensive end. Andy's defense is holding it down. He makes another save there against CRR. And yet again, Dignitas send Complexity away. 5 saves from Andy here in game 1.
You might need 6. CRR still on the drive. Gets that mid. Raisbull the shot. Blocked down from Evo. AJG has a chance here. But Raisbull goes for the back pass for CRR on this one. Little bit of miscommunication as the ball is still up. Raisbull has control. Evo, great challenge. Can AJG get there in time? Does get it on the sidewall, but now it's looking that much more daunting here for Complexity. Here comes the pass transition, cut out from Drees. They want this to hit the ground so bad, but Complexity continuing to keep this up. AJG has to race to this one, no boost, but does get a touch in the midfield. CRR pops it up. AJG has 100 boost. He's gonna end up having to get involved here as Evo now off to the side. Why is this still in the air?
I don't know, but Drees is gonna kill it right here. That's it. Dignitas weathers the storm at the end and hangs on for a 1-0 victory. And look, it doesn't get much tougher than that with Complexity giving it a real shot at the end of the game. But it's the one strike from Drees set up by Evo that gives Dignitas one step closer to the grand finals.
8, more than that. 10 saves coming out from Dignitas that game. My goodness. Drees was the only one in the shooting department. 4 shots from Drees, and I believe it was one of the earlier ones that did score there. You talk about not having particularly role players in competitive Rocket League, but that was definitely for Dignitas role-playing performance. Drees was in the net. Made sure nothing was able to get past him. Evo was definitely more of just kind of facilitating around in the midfield. He also had a lot of great stops too. And of course, Drees was literally their only offense. Complexity now have to make some adjustments because things that they normally do, that pressure got completely mitigated. You shut down a team that puts on 10 shots, yeah, that's going to mess them up a little bit. We'll see how they can adjust as we get Forbidden Temple loaded up.
Game 2 out of a possible 7, maybe out of a likely 7. Wavepunk mentioned it right before sending it over to us. All their games have been close. A near reverse sweep in the opening round. CRR stuffed by Andy. AJG's got this. Up ahead, deflected away by Evo. Drees was there as well. Raisbull trying to dish one off maybe to CRR. It's still headed netward, and Drees with the save. Evo hanging around in the net just in case he's needed, but he won't be as Andy's got this away.
Raisbull. Good control there. Great control, I should say. Gets that all the way by the box. Andy will get credited for his save there as he tries to pass it out. Things starting to slow down a little bit for Complexity. But at least in terms of the early game, they are still showing some semblance of that offense. A couple of good drives their way. It's Evo, though. And Dig tried to get started up. Dree's not able to make contact, but Evo with the demo to slow things down. A little bit of physicality coming out here, but as the first minute goes by, we are still scoreless.
CRR just able to swipe some boost away, but Razebull waiting at the back. He's got plenty to work with as
Double
booms it away, but couldn't keep possession. CRR, full tank as he meets up with Drees. You know, this Dignitas squad, we knew they were all right. We knew that series with Space Station was winnable. We weren't quite sure how winnable. And it just feels like they've gotten even better, as good as they were against SSG yesterday. Drees there to stop the ball temporarily. Drees and Andy double commit. This is awkward. Evo able to range back and make the save with CRR crashing in.
Now Drees on this one, trying to get past CRR, bumps CRR out the way. Andy will take the corner boost. And that play will kind of dissolve there from Dignitas. But yeah, you can see them. It does feel like, again, they are elevating here. Though, that will be the first shot recorded for them this game. CRR, great save out. Just not necessarily too comfortable on either side. As the back and forth continues, AJG will try to clear this away, but Andy, another cutoff. Digger trying to keep that consistent pressure in the blue half.
A Complexity team that outscored M80 13-4 yesterday in the quarterfinals. Evo. Oh, that caught a deflection and goes in, and Dignitas scores first again.
Look at this. Forced an error here from Evo. Found the lane. He also had Andy there, so CRR recognizing that, trying to get a touch just to deflect the ball, forgets where he's positioned, and an own goal comes through. Dig with a 1-goal lead. We know they can hold on to it, but Complexity, what is going on the other side of the field here? Again, that level of threat from them that we've normally seen over the course of this tournament has just not been there yet. Chance there. Razebull. Able to get that through. Look at this. CRR will get credit. But it's the bump there. Oh, wait, no, actually, that was just everything fell apart. What the heck?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I saw one thing. I looked at the replay and saw something completely different. That was just... I understand why you didn't say anything.
Yeah. I was going to leave that to you. You've got the far superior brain, and if you couldn't figure it out, I wasn't even going to try. AJG lobbing one on as Drees will send that out towards Evo. That's where Dignitas, I think, has improved even more from yesterday. They're working together as a team, working out of the zone. But they've got caught a few times as Razebull threads the needle on a great feed from AJG.
I mean, credit CRR for the bump there initially. You can see Dig's defense starting to have to adjust. Two people on that side wall. So then AJG right to Razebull. Razebull, a great shot placement. Complexity starting to turn things around.
Complexity's got its first goal and now its first lead of this series. That deflects off a defender. Razebull guiding it in, and 3 unanswered goals very quickly for Complexity.
You blink and you miss it on this one. Right off the kickoff, ball goes straight to Razebull. Very well executed. Razebull now getting that dunk down in front, and you're seeing the success for Complexity. They're starting to ramp up.
And they may be adding more. AJG heading after Evo. Couldn't quite get him. And Drees and Andy stuck there in the corner. They have had some communication breakdowns, a few double commits. They've been out of position quite a bit defensively in this game. Evo trying to guide one down towards Andy, but AJG very patient, waits for it. Now Drees up against CRR. Andy trying to recover into the play. This great win by CRR. That forces Evo into action, and it's still kind of dangerous in the Dignitas end. Andy at least gets it out to Drees with a minute left, and AJG will calmly guide this out. CRR burning more time off the clock, lining up a double, but Andy has it away.
Good clear out from Andy, but Dignitas Trying to come up with 2 here. Can they do it? That's a double commit, but well needed as that shot was top left corner. Transition working out for Complexity. CR was expecting the ball to come across. It did, but not in the speed in which he was ready for it. Now there's the Complexity aggression. Keeping this ball on the orange side. 30 seconds left in regulation. They're going to try to challenge everything. Dig move forward. Can they stop Evo? He's looking for the dunk. Got it, but Rage Bull was there to put a hand up.
Out of the final 10 seconds. Dignitas needed a win there at midfield. Instead, they're going to find themselves in a tied series here with Complexity as Complexity roars back. 3 goals in about a minute's time. And Complexity tie the series.
They tie the series, and they looked a lot better. That's one thing that is for sure. They again, the assists were coming out. All goals assisted that game for Complexity. Raze Bull had quite the game here. So you take a look at the stats. 3 saves, 5 shots. I mean, he was able to step up. But it does come down to, again, Complexity really starting to find the form. After the first goal, I feel like it was just so much confusion that happened on that play that it took not only us aback, but also some of the players on Dignitas, because it just seemed like they couldn't recover after that.
Yeah, it was kind of an awkward game, and Complexity got kind of a couple goals that you look at and go, that's not the Dignitas I remember from the last 48 hours. It's one game, and they get to turn it around here as we go to DFH Stadium for Game 3. I think both of these teams have kind of had a game that they're going to look back at and go, that's not the way we play Rocket League. So now, this best of 7 effectively turned into a best of 5. 1-1 through 2 games, and now we break this 1-1 tie on DFH with CRR immediately off the kickoff. We've seen Complexity score early and often in some of their series in this event. They're yet to kind of have that stretch at the start of a game today, but certainly threatening here. Drees sending one away. Raze Bull up the ladder to get in the way, but Drees with the clear.
AJG trying to get that bump off.
Still
Andy.
awkward.
They are. Drees is out the play. I don't know if he was really ever in that play, but now he is. Shot on. What a transition there for Drees. Evo just waiting, won't be able to grab that, so Andy is able to push this forward. Dignitas now starting to find their footing. Evo puts a shot on, forcing Raze Bull to get the save there. Was definitely a sloppy start in the opener for Dignitas. For Complexity, though, they're trying to keep up that momentum. Feels like they found a way in during Game 2. Now they want to see if they can continue to exploit some defensive mistakes from Dig, but so far in the opening end of this game, Dignitas have cleaned up their act, and we're playing ball here on DFH.
Raze Bull bounces one into the Dignitas end, but Evo will set it up for Drees. He'll have to take that over himself. Evo over to the side, and that turnaround did not shed AJG at all. CRR towards the net, well off the mark, and Drees has the catch. Drees and Evo combine, and it's AJG that's going to have this away. CRR waiting. AJG trying to interfere, and with the save, another goal line save, keeps Complexity at bay.
Amazing save from Andy. That one was super solid. You saw the play out from Complexity. Oh, Drees! No, just off the crossbar. Would have been able to get the first goal of the game. We've seen back and forth between these two. Going back to the dig save, that one is one of the more automatic plays from Complexity we've seen this tournament. They link up like that, it's almost always going in. But for that save to come out, for Dignitas also to keep it on the transitions, keep it locked in. Can Andy get there? No! Raze Bull got in front of him. And still, we are tied up as we approach the halfway point.
Back and forth, it's like a track meet. As Andy has Evo behind him, waiting to clean up a rebound, but that goes off to the side. Drees coming up as well. Dignitas kind of bunched up in that corner. CRR will get it loose, and Evo leaves that for Andy. He might have been able to grab that midfield boost. He's still downfield, directing this back towards center, and Raze Bull ranging back just to make sure they don't give up a cheap one. But now Dignitas has it all figured out. Evo gonna call his own number with a flip reset. Now Drees indirect, and Raze Bull pops that away from Evo. CRR ahead for AJG. That's a good win, but Drees has that to the corner.
Evo went back. He was 0 boost to get that corner. Immediately got demoed for his efforts by AJG. Evo now will pick up the boost again. This time, no demo comes through. Gets it past too. Raise Bull, last back here. Got bumped there, piece of it, but still stays close to the ball. Again, playing that 50 out. Great ground pinch too. Really solid work for Raise Bull. He's had a fantastic tournament. He's doing really well this series as Complexity gets into things. They may be needed here late in the game. As clock ticks down, he picks up his 3rd save.
I mean, it's been a process for all of these players. We highlighted Dignitas players and their struggle to find a roster that feels like home. You know, these guys on Complexity, it was not always sunshine and roses for them, particularly a player like AJG who really had to kind of work his way up the ladder. CRR as well over on the European side, now coming over to North America, and he is right at home. So too is AJG, so too is Raise Bull with the shot, and it's saved away by Evo just barely. And speaking of players who have kind of had to grow up in a real hurry, Evo has taken on a much more defensive role than he had in his previous stint in the RLCS, playing in the qualifiers with XZ, and it's working out to perfection.
Flick over. Evo trying to play that in. 30 seconds now. About keeping up that control. You've been consistent all game long. Don't make a mistake now. Good save out from Andy. AJG keeps this in play. Looking for the follow-up, but you see Drees there. Free midfield. This is dangerous. Oh, Raise Bull gets it past Evo. The final 10 seconds, Complexity with the ball. Oh, he gets it through! AJG is there! Complexity surge late in the game!
What a time to score his first of the series off the win by CRR. Beat a couple Dignitas defenders, and with 7 seconds left, Dignitas has to scramble. Creative kickoff, blows up in their face. Drees all alone at the back. Did at least get the ball airborne, but now they got to keep it up and go the length of the field, and they can't get out of their own way. Raise Bull will just guide this to the turf, and Complexity steals game 3.
Steal game 3 as well as the lead in this series. It was only a 1-goal game. Like we said, everybody was playing really well in that game. It was close. There were shot opportunities, great shots, great saves. It comes down to Dignitas having just too many people all in one spot, and 50-50 makes the difference here. Just take a look back at the highlights. I mean, there were, again, from the start, there were plenty of great goal scoring opportunities, but look at that save. My goodness, that was incredible from Andy, but it wasn't enough. A little too fast played from Drees. Ball got past them. Nobody was home, and Complexity stole the game.
You can say what you want about Andy's defense and making all those goal line saves and how cool it looks on video. The fact that they have to make so many goal line saves is not exactly an encouraging sign for the Dignitas squad. They survived game 1, and now they've got to find a way back here in this series because Complexity just feels like have outpaced them. The teamwork from Complexity has been far superior to that of Dignitas. Yeah. And now they've got to find a way to get that back and keep pace with Complexity going forward in this series as we head to Utopia for game 4.
The biggest thing to me is, or not the biggest thing, but one of the things you should pay attention to. No timeout here for Dig. They took the first game, they dropped 2 back-to-back. They say they'll hold on to it and wait for a match point situation. Still a lot of trust in this squad. They know that they've been playing toe-to-toe with Complexity. But can they stop AJG? Absolutely not! The star charges forward for Complexity.
He's got Drees dead to rights the whole way. Just a little stomp right at the end. He could never actually get up for that. Second goal, second in a row from AJG. Here we go. Now Andy. Got a line on one, but he sailed it high with CRR contesting low. And now Drees pop it out for Evo. Has to half flip to get on to this. Andy was coming on as well. He'll play that one, have to play it for himself. But AJG drop it off to CRR, and it's Complexity. Working as a well-oiled machine defensively. A pop-up save by Drees. And Andy needs one more touch, doesn't have it. So Evo will try his luck. CRR there to greet him. Now Drees hard out of the corner, nobody there as Raise Bull sends it out to CRR. Intercepted by Andy, but AJG has this. Here comes Complexity.
Big swing game here. You know, this type of situation, you go back, you look at Andy's interview from yesterday's victory. Says, we're looking towards San Diego. A win here to take you to the grand finals is going to help out so much. You're already in a good spot, but you can get to a great spot if you can get that far. If you're looking for it, you got to step up, and you have to show everyone you deserve it. They're down by 1, 3:40 left against a Complexity squad that is full vamos the way they are attacking the field.
Raise Bull got one touch, but Evo's lost this. He may have just been leaving it for Andy. Got the demolition. Another demo on AJG. CRR all alone in defense, and he's done just enough. Evo to sky one up central, but AJG will pop it away. I mean, they had that advantage and could not capitalize. Everybody from Dignitas racing back to get boosted. Now they're back in position to defend this Complexity counterattack. Raise Bull over to AJG. Decent first touch to send it forward. Better win on the wall, but Drees pops it away only as far as Raise Bull. They're not working as a team anymore, Daz. On the defensive end, it seems like there's a good pass on the defensive side, but they've been few and far between.
Yeah, low boost situations and just a little bit of awkwardness. Thanks to Complexity's approach on the ball, has really made things awkward for Dignitas. Again, not able to really set up too much. This has been a very low shooting game-wise compared to the ones we've seen this series. Only 4 shots total. That'll be the 5th saved by Evo. 3 for Complexity, 2 for Dignitas here. Maybe in the later half of this game, things really start to ramp up as Dig don't at least try to tie this up. They're going to be put in a dangerous match point situation.
In hockey, we call them grade A opportunities. Opportunities right in front of the net where the goalies have to make a quick reflex save, and Dignitas have had to make a lot of those against Complexity. The quality of shots from Complexity has been far superior over that of Dignitas. Okay, AJG, I guess you just have that. As Drees might have got a touch to send this out, and Evo will chase this downfield, and maybe Dignitas feeling a bit lucky they didn't concede a goal there.
Yeah, they are definitely walking away smiling, but not too happy. Transitions have been good from Complexity. Just get the ball out, get it downfield. We don't have to do anything and overextend to put ourselves in any crazy situation. A good cushion goal for them is something that they would love, but you can tell how the way that they slow down, they're not too concerned about it. That can be dangerous, though, because they're giving a lot of ground here to Dignitas, and we've seen what Dig can do with space. How can they handle that, though? With less time on the clock than they normally do.
Drees had the lone goal in game 1, assisted by Evo. Evo scored early enough in game 2, and that's been all of the offense for Dignitas. 4 unanswered, make it 5 unanswered goals now from Complexity, and the streak continues on. AJG has this one go from way downtown, and maybe it's just their weekend.
Pinch in your net. Another goal for Complexity, smiles on Raise Bull. And for Dignitas, you can see it, they're already getting those conversations started. Because they know that this game is still in the realm of possibility, but when your back's against the wall, you have to show some magic, so to speak. Now, this Dignitas team definitely can do that. We've seen them almost reverse sweep Complexity before. Do not count them out here. But this game is starting to look out of reach. 35 seconds remaining. Complexity are showing no signs of letting Dig score at all.
Dick called for the timeout when they were on match point after winning game 5 yesterday. Something we've very rarely seen, a timeout after a win, but it was after a lengthy overtime. Drees just completely lost the plot there. AJG has been on just a massive tear. I believe he's got the last 4 goals for Complexity.
Yeah. I mean, you would know. For me,
he's been otherworldly. He just kind of started the series, he was all right, and now, as they would say in NBA Jam, he's on fire.
You didn't have to say that.
I did.
No, You didn't have to.
Well, I also have to say that Complexity is on match point as they add one more for the road. Razebull adds one of his own. It's been a beating, as I'm almost certain Dignitas will have to take a timeout here.
It's looking like that, Stacks. Complexity, they started the series off, was a little questionable. We do have where the timeout is going through for Dig. You seen the Complexity ramp up. It's been, everybody has had their moment. I mean, last game 3 was Razebull. This game, definitely AJG started it off hot, continued that. And it's always, whenever they're having a good game, it's every part of the field too. Goals, saves, shots, they lead in those categories. And you were mentioning it yesterday when we casted them, you called them like a three-headed hydra. This is an example of that, the way that it's always somebody different stepping up in these matches.
Yeah, you take one out. I mean, in this case, they had a point where they took out 2 players and CRR was left all alone, and they still turned that into a quality chance on the other side. Dignitas has had a real tough time solving this puzzle. So they get the extra minute or so off the timeout to try and figure out exactly how to get back into this series. And we've seen Dig in this tournament, even back in the group stage, down but never out. And if there is a team capable of this kind of a turnaround, you'd certainly back Dignitas to be one of those teams. But it is a very tall mountain to climb with Complexity playing the way they have been. I mean, we thought G2 was on another level. Complexity has definitely stepped up their game from the fall split. And remember, Gen.G waiting in the grand finals, who Complexity so far this season has owned with a 3-0 record.
That is facts. I feel like Gen.G want the Complexity rematch though.
Yeah.
To be able to get over that hump. That being said, Dignitas, again, not by any margins out of this series. We know that they can go the distance, even with their backs against the wall. They can lock in, they can win games and turn things around. But to be in a semifinals position with grand finals on the line, it's a new layer of pressure for this team. I mean, Evo, for example, has not been in this situation before. So how do they all handle it? It's going to be you're going to have to keep your eyes on it, because we can see moments of greatness and these teams really push themselves forward. Or, what tends to happen with a lot of teams is they start to fall apart. Wasteland Night is the stage. Grand finals will waste Complexity if they take this game. I'm excited to get into it.
Neo Tokyo over the horizon if they can survive long enough to get there. Razebull to AJG, high off the backboard. CRR is there, but so too is Andy, and that is how Game 5 begins. And it's not exactly the start that Dignitas was looking for coming out of the timeout. Evo will slam this out of the corner. Razebull is there to stop, and Drees getting a touch just before the demolition. And there's not much of an offensive push out of Dignitas in the first 30 seconds, as yet again, Complexity all over them right out of the gate.
Complexity trying to smother, but Dignitas you can tell it's feeling a little bit more methodic in the way that they're moving around the field, playing a lot smarter with the ball, not giving, again, no shots given in the first minute. And they're totally compliant with playing in that midfield, working around, trying to test what Complexity are bringing to the table. Is Razebull gonna boom the ball? Oh my God! What the heck? AJG! This man is unbelievable!
AJG, another guy and another goal. His 5th, as he just keeps racking them up.
What? Oh, it's right in front of Andy too. That was amazing. But wait, hold on. Evo, he was trying to shake things off, trying to look a little bit more confident on his press up the field. They gotta start something where Andy, hold on, that's a high ball. Okay, AJG's there. Drees couldn't get there quickly enough. So the response from Dignitas, they want to get that back quickly. Of course, Complexity not gonna make it easy.
Yeah, pressure mounting with every tick of the clock. Razebull, all the boost, had some time. They hold all the keys right now. This is skied up towards midfield. Nobody burning any boost to go after it. Boost, but AJG kind of spun himself out. And it'll be a mad dash for that corner boost that AJG's collected, and he'll pop this for himself, perhaps. CRR will take the shot, and a blistering shot that it was, but it's Andy with the save. He'll play that out indirect for Evo and Drees to chase after. And Drees trying to get in front of AJG's clearance effort. Got a piece of that. Now Evo up ahead to Drees. Couldn't redirect that on target, but Dignitas now, the creativity is there. They know it's got to be something more than your standard fare to get past this complexity defense.
Yeah, they have to level up right now. And they are, you're seeing it. The question is, can they consistently do it? It can be, you can start to play a little bit unstable as Evo will put one on. Again, you try to turn up the speed, get out of your comfort zone. It can lead to mistakes. Drees, no mistake on that save. Off the bar, Andy will clear it away. It's still a one-goal game.
Drees yet again, and Dignitas as a whole having to make these goal line saves. Razebull had his shot blocked at point blank by Evo. And now CRR. Drees missed on this one, so Andy's got it, but it's loose in front. Nobody there but Evo. That's a great ball up to Andy. Andy needs help. He's got it central, and Drees couldn't jump after it. Razebull all over that centering effort. Now AJG over towards CRR. Here comes complexity again. This time CRR had it left off of Drees, but it goes right back into the complexity end.
Really want to see a chance here for Evo to try to control the ball more. Last touch he got, he just tried to push it towards midfield to see if someone was there. No one was there. He just gave up possession when he could have probably tried to turn that into a solo play. Maybe something like that is needed here for Dig, as we are approaching that final minute. And this ball has been in the orange half for most of the game. Dig need a breakout. They got to stop that man there. AJG trying to find the dagger. Denied at the goal line.
Razebull again looking for more. Certainly looking for that knockout blow. Drees has Andy underneath to the right. And they're just not on the same page there. Andy and Evo both jump. It's Evo who takes the shot, lining up a double, but Razebull has it away. Razebull has been just the guy that has frustrated Dignitas the most in this series. It happened again. That pass way too strong for Drees. AJG in position anyways. Now Razebull. As Drees and Evo go, and we're starting to see maybe Evo a little bit of hero ball. Maybe everybody on Dignitas just trying to take that hero role and maybe a little bit of my turn offense. It's Andy. His shot taken away by CRR, stuffed by Razebull and AJG. Evo is not going to get back in time, and Razebull might have just iced it.
Oh, look at them. Look at them go. They are ecstatic. The yell and the fierceness from complexity. As it seems like they might have just won the series right here and right now. Gen.G, I hope you're ready, because this complexity team is coming for you.
Scramble stations now for Dignitas here in the final 10 seconds, and that clear away by CRR sends the message loud and clear to Andy and Dignitas. We don't want to play with you anymore, as this one headed towards the ground, and complexity gets another shot at Gen.G in the finals.
Unbelievable. The amount of work that complexity have put in this first regional event, winning their group, continuing to play at that level in the bracket stage, getting all the way to this point is definitely deserved. And they put themselves in a really good spot with this victory as well in the overarching conversations. Again, we're talking about the major, talking about San Diego. The win there could, again, if they can keep this level up, then maybe some of those predictions, those way too early predictions on them will be right. For Dignitas, though, this is still nothing to really put your heads down on, right? Semifinals appearance after debuting with this roster has been something that you guys definitely can come back in and maybe even improve on and get yourselves in that conversation as well.
Yeah, for Dignitas, there's, like you said, nothing to be ashamed of here at all. They've run into a team that is an absolute monster. Complexity ends the series on a 10-0 run. And now, after a short break, they get a shot at Gen.G in the grand finals.
Tries to send one to the back of the net, and he will triple touch. You said the double might work out. How about a triple?
Oh my! This time, fire! Try to clear this away. Let me go with the back. Picked up the steam. It's still there for Jim. They scored.
And then there were two in a series we hoped would be closer. It was a little bit closer than the first semifinal, but not by much. Dignitas took game one, and then Complexity didn't look back. Outshot Dignitas by double. 44 shots from Complexity to just 22 from Dignitas. I feel like 20 of those came in game one here, Gibbs. That was Complexity series from top to bottom.
Yeah, that rematch didn't live up to the hype that we saw way back in the very first day, round one action. So that series went to 5, 3 games to 2. This time
this one
around,
went 5. What more do you want?
Yes, this actually went 5. But Complexity, man, they look like nothing was gonna. There was no team that was gonna do anything against them here because they won Gen.G in that final. They're 3-0 versus Gen.G. They look so incredibly strong throughout. Again, out shooting double here and Complexity. AJG, what a series from him. And this will be the first grand final for CRR ever. And then, of course, the first grand final for his teammates in North America. So these 3 guys, this is why they moved to North America for moments like this.
Yeah, and there was a lot of question right after last season when they kind of flamed out after that hot start in the fall. It's like, all right, did they actually make a mistake? Will they end up going back to South America and try to dominate there? No, they stayed up here in North America. They had CRR, and it took some time to get the results, but now this is a team that looks like they are certainly a majors, and frankly, the way they're playing right now, a world's contender.
They are in the finals, and they have a chance to take it all right here against a team that they have yet to lose to, as far as I know. So we'll see what happens, folks. They're also the only team nobody predicted to win it all on the pre-show. And here they are with an opportunity to prove us all wrong. But before we get into the finals, folks, it's time for the Ally Assist of the Week. This is a moment we bring to you where we see a fantastic assist from somewhere in the tournament, some moment where a team popped off, and particularly a player popped off to help another part of the team score a goal. We'll show you that here in just a moment, folks. It's going to be an amazing moment, and you're going to love it. But here we go. The Ally Assist of the Week. Take it down. This one's going to Dries, Gibbs.
Yes, this was game 6 versus Space Station on Neo Tokyo. 20 seconds into the game, comes off the wall, does a nice little tap in the corner for the actual assist, but the real assist is coming off this wall so incredibly fast and demoing out Arsenal, so Andy can slot this one home. And again, Dignitas, they made top 4 off this game 6 victory, and because of plays like this.
They might be out of the tournament at this point, but they did help each other get to this point. We'll get to see them again in the next one, folks. Just like you rely on your allies in Rocket League, Ally is proud to be a relentless supporter for your financial well-being because we're all better off with an ally, digitally, personally, and financially. Ally, do it right. That's your Ally Assist of the Week earned by Dries. We'll see a few more of those over the course of the split here, folks, and that sets us up for our grand finals. Only 2 teams remain. One of them has been here every single time. They never fail to make top 2, whether it's a regional or a major. Gen.G Mobile 1 taking on Complexity. Complexity, the first time we've seen them this far in a tournament, and it feels like forever, but they feel like this is just a return to where they're supposed to be, Stacks.
Yeah, this is, what more can you say about Gen.G? They're just perennially the best in North America until somebody says otherwise. That's what I keep saying. This is a team on the other side, though, Wave, that I think could have something to say about that as far as this weekend is concerned. Complexity, again, we keep mentioning it. They've beat them time and time again. They beat them in this event to take the #1 spot in their group. Would not surprise me to see another. I think it's still considered an upset because we're talking about Gen.G here, but it wouldn't surprise me to see another upset.
Yeah, we always talk about the day 1 Gen.G where they don't look that great. A lot of that fault is because they play Complexity 3 times out of the 4, and they've lost to them all 3 times. Not only did they lose to them, they've played 10 total games against Complexity, and Gen.G has won 1, and that's it. There is no other team that gives them problems but this team of Complexity. We do say that's because they don't look that good on day one, but most of the time it's because they have to play the SAM team in Complexity. So we'll see if it plays a factor here, because I think a lot of people do take head-to-head, and that is gospel. But in this case, again, as you said, I think Complexity is still underdogs going up against Gen.G.
It's the question, like, is it that Gen.G is bad against Complexity, or do they just struggle on day one and happen to always play Complexity? We're gonna find out. This is completely different. This is day 3. We have Complexity having run through a tournament. They are hot coming off of that win from Dignitas, but Gen.G also icy, fiery, explosive, all the adjectives coming off of their win over G2 there. So, man, what has changed for Complexity? Is there anything that either you can identify from last split to this split that sees them this far into the tournament, this early on in the split?
Who are you guys? Because I think it's a tough question, because I think everything is probably clicking throughout this weekend. We'll see if that will continue. I feel like Fall, they looked very mediocre at times. Both times through Swiss, it was like a 2-3, a 3-2, and a 3-1. They had one good tournament, I would say. That was Regional 2, where they almost made it to a top 4 finish. But now the offense is clicking. We see CRR has really, really performed now throughout this tournament. So, I think that was a big roster move, and we all thought it would pay dividends in Fall, and we didn't really see that. Now we're starting to see that. But then you look at AJG, probably the player that no one really talks about on that squad, and he just had a fantastic showing versus Dignitas. So all 3 members are really clicking right now, Stacks, and they are a threat versus Gen.G.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly maturity. I mean, remember how badly they fell off at the end of last season. They understand that they can't make the same mistakes that they made last season. They've got to outwork everybody if they want to see that level of success again. And it feels like they have. It feels like they are much better defensively. They have much more chemistry now, which, after making a roster change, you kind of wait several months for that to develop. They made that roster change, and it's been, I wouldn't say instant, but they've got CRR exactly where they need him to be. I feel like maybe he was too much of the star in the fall split, and now some of that burden's been taken off his shoulders with AJG playing absolutely out of his mind this weekend. Ray's Bull has had a fantastic last couple of days as well. This is a 3-headed monster that you need to be if you're going to be successful in North America. It can't just be 1 or 2 guys carrying everything.
I can't help but point out, as we're getting to take a look at the players as they're preparing for these grand finals. We've seen a lot of success from teams who are able to boot camp during online regionals here. Complexity, all in the same room, getting ready together, not having to deal with lag or delay across the board. This has got to be an edge for them that has helped to get them this far.
Oh, absolutely. We saw that in Europe with Vitality. They always use
endpoint and BDS.
They always do that. Yeah, exactly. They always go and play in an environment where they're right next to each other. Then you can hang out all weekend too. It just makes everything better because you get so much more chemistry out of your squad. Hey, let's all go to dinner. Let's all hang out afterwards as well. But also the comms are so much easier because you're just right there next to each other. So we'll see how this plays out. But for the North American fans out there, this might not be the final they want, because there's one North American player in this final at this point. There's Chronic, and that is it. We got 3 Europeans.
I accept all 6 of them.
We're the melting pot. You see the Statue of Liberty, man. They're all, it's fine. It's all
okay.
We'll see. As we got all the players, I believe, ready to go here in the lobby. So we are going to find out what you think at home. Let us know in the fan vote. #COL, #GGM1. Mr. Stacks, who do you think is winning the first here, the Winter Open?
My instinct tells me that Gen.G probably gets this, but you know what? There's just something about this Complexity squad. Vamos! Los chicos van a ganar en 7 partidos. I got Complexity in 7.
Okay. Respectable, Gibbs.
I don't buy head-to-head stats. They don't mean anything. Past stats don't matter. Gen.G all the way. I'm going Gen.G here.
Oh, there's such a solid argument on both sides. But I do think what we saw from Gen.G earlier is unstoppable. unstoppable. I think the team dynamic as well. We were talking about seeing Complexity all in the same room with the mood lighting to remind them that they're on Complexity here. But every time we go over and see Gen.G, they're laughing and just smiling with each other. They have such a good vibe on that team, even in a slump of sorts. Give me Gen.G on this one, folks. How does chat feel about it? It's pretty much a toss-up here, but we're going to see Gen.G as a favorite in chat as well. It's time for the grand finals. The winner of the Winter Open is going to be decided in this best of 7. Gen.G here again. Complexity trying to challenge and beat them for a 4th time. Get up and get loud. It's game day.
6 players, 5 different countries represented, and only one team can win it all. Corelli, it's time for the grand finals.
What a matchup we have here today. You heard about the desk talking about Gen.G. They have crushed the competition once again to get themselves to a final, but Complexity has really been the final boss for Gen.G. They have yet to overcome them. Can they do it here in this grand final?
You heard apparently Jack in his interview say they had a bit of a mental block against Complexity. They lost their first series against them, but they get a hot start here. And it's Chronic, the player that puts in the first goal for Gen.G.
Exactly the start that Gen.G wants, especially after last series. And this little pass to Chronic is what they do so well inside the box. Selfless play. Certainly, Jack could have instantly taken that shot, but the pass secures the goal with Chronic shooting. And now this one coming off the back wall. Jack's got an open net. It's 2-0 so quickly for Gen.G.
Another goal. This one off kickoff. Chronic could have hit that if he shot it perfectly, but still on the rebound. Somehow the ball finds its way out to apparently Jack. A hot start for Gen.G. And apparently Jack said it. He thinks with how they're playing right now, he thinks they can finally get over that mental block for Complexity. And it seems like they might just do it if they can keep this level of play up.
Right now they're doing it. They have gotten a sucker punch in against Complexity. Now Complexity trying to get back, and AJG's shot denied.
This grand final, it has been an interesting one this season, this year so far, Corelli, with what's been going on in NA. This is the North American grand final, but if you tuned in after walking out of a time machine, you might be a little shocked.
Yeah, new viewers are confused. If you haven't watched since, I don't know, season 4 or something, you're tuning in for the first time, you might be confused. But this is where the league has developed so much great talent around the world. They've come to NA, and they are showing off here in the last split and in this split here. Apparently Jack trying to get that one off the back wall. Gen.G trying to pile on here for a 3rd goal.
Apparently Jack taking his time down to the ground, going for an infield pass, but AJG recognizes that, jumps the lane. Another high pop. Chronic with the fake. Raise Bull going low. Nolly going for a self pass off the corner. He'll leave it alone, and then see Chronic all the way back. Didn't find boost in the corner either, so this is going to give Complexity some possession and a nice chance to do some damage. You see Abject still on 0, finally getting that corner boost. Chronic trying to keep that play upfield. Abject. It's a light shot, easily handled by Razebull.
I think this is good stabilization coming out for Complexity as well. They've done a good job of slowing things down. They're gaining possession here. AJG just wants to take it by himself. I think for Complexity, they got to be a little bit more creative, not so direct, if they're going to beat this Gen.G squad in the midfield.
AJG had a lot of big goals against Dignitas. Going toe-to-toe with Gen.G. Now Chronic has the ball, and Chronic dismantled G2. I believe Jorby said it looks like a round 1 matchup. That is how badly Gen.G beat down G2.
It was not pretty, and I think that's why a lot of people have Gen.G picked here. They have been stellar in every regional, every tournament they've signed up for. Of course, making it to the final in every single one. Can they capitalize here right off the rip in this winter split? Can they overcome Complexity? HAG right on target, but Chronic turns it away. Race will try to get this one of a CRR, denied. Now Gen.G on the break. Apparently Jack through the midfield. Nolly trying to punch HAG out of the way, and apparently Jack will walk it home.
This is how much faith and confidence Gen.G have in one another. Nolly with no boost. He picks up one small pad. He doesn't hesitate at all. Lets apparently Jack pick up that ball and dribble it down. You know, Nolly, instead of rotating out, making that play, it was so smart.
Wow, what a start here in game one for Gen.G. You thought maybe they might have cooled off for a second there with Complexity stabilizing, but no. Great setup from Gen.G on the transition. And right now, Complexity struggling to put anything dangerous on target. It's been a lot of lob balls towards the box, towards the Gen.G defender. Now Razebull tries to squeak in through Nolly, but still can't break through. And this one might find the back of the net all the way across the field.
Oh my, and that's a hat trick for apparently Jack sniping it off the bounce from the corner, and Gen.G extend their lead 4-0. We've got over a minute and a half left, but Gen.G, it seems like they've got this game in the bag, and there's been a bit of a recurring pattern so far with teams playing Gen.G in this bracket, and it's that Gen.G just makes them look slow, they make them look sluggish, and they honestly are making teams look bad, Corelli.
Yeah, sloppy is the word I would use. You really aren't seeing any play style executed by anyone playing against Gen.G, especially in these playoff brackets. Certainly Complexity got the better of them in the group, but once Gen.G gets to that bracket, they dismantle squads and they do not look the same.
And you saw apparently Jack pre-jumping that lane, and it goes right into him. It's like they're clairvoyant. Gen.G Mobile 1, defensively, offensively, they're pre-jumping. And apparently Jack, he even mentioned a little bit. He said he thinks the thing they're doing better than any other team is using their brain.
That's pretty smart to do, James. He certainly wanted to do that.
Well, he said thinking.
Okay.
To be fair. But I mean, that's the way I took it.
That's fair enough. As, hold on, Complexity might get their first
Gen.G scores again.
You gonna give it to him like that? Okay.
I mean, look at it. Look at the shot.
That's CRR getting credit.
Yeah, I know. Only couldn't get back in time, but it looked worse than it was. However, Gen.G, they can give up one at this point. Still a 3-goal lead. It would take a miracle for Complexity to get back into this one. But let's touch on that, Corelli, just a little bit. You know, apparently Jack, he went out there and said it. They're playing more of a strategic game than any other team out there, and he thinks that's what's making the difference.
Yeah, I think you can see in the confidence. I mean, how many pre-jumps have we called out, James, in the series that we've casted from them? And the series against Gen.G, or excuse me, G2 as well, they have just so much confidence and so much poise behind the ball. All three of them know, it seems like they know exactly where each other are the entire time. I mean, they are an incredible squad to be playing this consistently on the same page for so long. One more for the road. Apparently Jack is 4th or 5th of your James stats, and Gen.G crushing Complexity here in game one.
And we saw more of what I think Jack was referencing. I'm thinking about that play with Nolly where he was on 0 boost. The ball is right next to apparently Jack and Nolly, and you're thinking, oh, we're going to see a double commit here, or what's going on with the spacing? But they make it work. They're so quick to improv and come up with a plan, and their communication must be on point to be able to do that on a whim like that. And the pre-jumps defensively that we saw from apparently Jack, all around, this was another rock solid game from Gen.G. What else can you say? They looked unbeatable.
Well, that's what I was about to say, James. Okay, the analysis is Gen.G good. Of course, we talked about them the whole game, but what does Complexity really need to do here to change it up? And for me, looking at that last game, I think they got to take care of the ball more. I think they gave the ball away too easily to Gen.G. Not a lot of intention behind it. You saw 2 or 3 air dribbles coming out from the outside of their box towards the other side of the field with really no chance on target or to be put away. You saw AJG with a couple of those. I feel like Complexity, they have to bring that ball down, find the space that's given to them. Gen.G are not perfect. They're almost perfect, but they're not perfect. And there are opportunities for Complexity to move the ball around the field. It's tough. It's a tough ask, but that's how they're going to have to beat Gen.G.
Now we'll see what they do. See whether it's demos, trying to dribble that ball a little bit more, whatever it may be. But something needs to get figured out. Now an off kickoff was rolling back towards net, but Nolly able to clear it off the goal line. CRR right back on target, but Chronic will get the save. Razebull is trying to prevent anyone from getting that ball at the mid. Does get it back to CRR. CRR! It's his first Grand Finals appearance, Corelli. Whereas we've had Gen.G, they've made 5 Grand Finals already this season.
Such an impressive stat. For Complexity, though, I really like the way they're starting things off here. First 30 seconds, it's all them. Possession to the blue side, and everyone waiting here from Gen.G, not coming up with the ball. Now Razebull, can he whip this one back around? And no boost, unfortunately, not enough to make anything happen. Now a fake from CRR, but still Complexity holding on, trying to keep Gen.G locked in. Can they keep this attack going? It'll come out to apparently Jack, but he's denied instantly. Chronic, awkward touch to the corner, but he makes it as Complexity still trying to get a vice grip on this Gen.G defense.
The best possession we've seen them have. And Complexity convert the shot on target. Chronic low gets the save. Chronic a lot of times that last man back to make those saves. Razebull pops it high over one. Flip reset, Jack, free jump, and he gets the stop out to the corner. Well played there by apparently Jack.
Some good feints coming out from Complexity as well. Faking a lot of the air dribbles or the delayed touch. Now this one comes out to AJG. What a redirect from AJG as Complexity finally breaks through.
And Chronic, he was doing his best to get that out. That pass, though, so perfect. You saw AJG was threatened by a bumper. A demo was able to get around that and get the shot. Immense pressure converted on by Complexity, and that is going to do wonders. They finally break through, and it was a quality goal after so much possession.
Clinical pressure there from Complexity, generating 8 shots. Gen.G don't have one. They're going to get one right here. But for Complexity, that's the type of gameplay you're looking for. You have to not show and not play your cards so quickly. And they certainly slowed it down, and it forced Gen.G to kind of clump up in front of their net. A lot of space was afforded to Complexity from there.
Complexity trying to march this ball downfield. Nolly back to the ball, flip reset into the middle. Apparently Jack was in the air and took the shot, but it was blocked away by CRR. Now a quick shot downfield. AJG trying to bounce it. Ground double tap. He gets a piece, but it's a double commit. Razebull preventing that counter attack. Apparently Jack flick beats 2. AJG back pass to CRR, who in traffic's trying to control it, but he gets shut down. Ping-ponging off multiple Gen.G members, finally out to the corner. Still not out of danger yet.
It certainly is a resource battle. You're seeing a lot of players off the ball fighting for corner boosts. Chasing after each other, trying to get a demo, cutting each other off as well, so that they can't pick up pads. Now apparently Jack, lots of space. Nolly pre-jumps, trying to get a piece of Razebull, chases up to the backboard. Razebull somehow stays with the play and makes the save.
Razebull keeping a cool head. Saw Nolly coming in for that bump. Nolly trying to play that lead blocker, but Razebull navigating it wonderfully. Then you see the 2 demos relieving some pressure. Complexity, I feel like the narrative of this one, Corelli, is that they found their composure this game.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Goodness. That was gross from apparently Jack. What on earth did I just witness? Bang! Razebull had no chance at it, and that's one way to get an equalizer.
All those underflip shots. We've seen Chronic do it. We've seen Atomic do it. Now apparently Jack adding one to the highlight reel. But reset, Chronic gets another touch. Chronic!
Wow.
Clawing this lead back for Gen.G.
Oh, he makes it look so easy as well, the flip reset, but look how he gets another touch right by Razebull. So many touches on the ball. The composure from Chronic in the air is unmatched. And what a touch to give Gen.G the lead.
And those extra touches after the flip reset make all the difference. We saw it yesterday. We even saw it on the top plays today, Corelli, the flip reset from Nolly, where he went and got that extra little touch. That control to be able to get back to the ball, even with little boost. Chronic didn't have much in the tank to be able to get back there.
Well, and as a defender, you have to commit to your line. And once you do, it's really tough to change it up, especially at the speed that one was at. Razebull making another clutch save, his second here in game 2.
Chronic, shot opportunity, gets the flip reset, double tap shot, save. Razebull's defense is giving some hope to Complexity, but they've got under a minute left to tie it up, and it looks like Gen.G starting to heat up.
What a talent Chronic has shown off to be here, and what he's turned into. Such a weapon for Gen.G. I mean, this is a guy who was struggling to qualify for regionals at one point, and now he only plays in grand finals.
Grand final simulator. CRR. Blocked by Chronic, who's waiting far post. Nolly with a 50 will stay on it, waiting for the challenge. It kicks back towards net. Apparently Jack into a dribble. Now an air dribble. Out to Raise Bull. Chronic controlling it so nicely on the walls and gets the demo to get the game done.
He's so good offensively, defensively. I mean, he made that touch look like so easy. It was so soft, the finesse. And that was important too, off the back wall when time's running out and Complexity are trying to push up their line, to have that control and then to get the demo at the end. Brilliant stuff from Chronic.
Chronic, you saw him utilize the flip reset in a world-class fashion. Getting the flip reset back to the ball, getting an extra touch. You saw him get the flip reset going for the double tap. That shot was blocked by Raise Bull. And on that last play, the flip reset into the wave dash to get a shot opportunity.
That shot from a
and that's what kick-started the comeback for Gen.G. And then once they got the lead, you felt like it was going to be tough for Complexity to battle back from.
Was he saying, "You're so good"? Is that what he was? I was trying to read his lips. He was yelling. He was saying something about it. And look, I think the hypeness level from, is that the right word? The hype coming out from Jack is so important. It energizes this team. And I think you've seen it in all these pop-ups. Every single time you look at these replays, it's apparently Jack screaming, smacking, his camera shaking. It looks like he's in an earthquake, but that's the type of level I think Jack's always wanted to be at. And this team allows him to be himself. And look what happens. He's hitting shots like that. He's getting up, he's screaming, and his team is 2-0 up in a grand final right now.
And you know, on the other side of the field, Complexity, the start of the game, and this one might be another good one. Chronic can't save it. A quick goal for Complexity. They had the lead last game as well. Will they be able to hold on to it this time?
And this one coming off the demo from HAG allowed this shot to kind of trickle into that goal line. Chronic almost got back to it. Complexity biting first here in the first seconds. Much needed after a great start to game 2, I would say. It slowly started to fizzle out. Gen.G, they started to take over.
Another demo from HAG. So will we see that as the adjustment? Something's got to change. Complexity risk losing this one and being on match point. And that one was a nice idea, but somehow Nolly gets a body on the play. The rebound, HAG scores it. Nolly couldn't get the ball under his control.
Look at this touch from Raise Bull into the corner. Look at the angle that this guy just got. And he forced Nolly to go, and it's a poor clear, comes right out to HAG. It's a tap in the end for him. But it was all Raise Bull there on that crazy angle to put it across the net.
And Raise Bull's been playing quite well. You even think back to the defensive stat that he had, dodging the bump 2v1 situation. And now they're getting that play and almost a ground pinch from HAG. It's so hard to elevate those. He almost put that top corner.
Complexity trying to heat up here. Raise Bull flip reset, waiting on it. Trying to pinch it down again. A lot of delayed flip resets coming out from Complexity. And it's keeping Gen.G backed up on their line. They're scared to commit. See if Raise Bull goes for it again here off the corner. And a good dunk will keep Complexity on offense.
Shot. Blocked aside and a miss from Chronic. That opens up the field. Apparently Jack struggling. You saw him having to jump over the demo attempt. Complexity, the back pass. HAG gets dunked on by Nolly, now out to the corner. Jack lobs it to the middle, but Chronic is too far back. Chronic doesn't get the best clear, gets help from Nolly to push this over to the side. Nolly, panic clear up field. Gen.G not able to keep that possession.
Oh, CRR, he's slicing, he's dicing, can he put it far post? The control in the midfield to cut it across, and then there again, in front of the net. Raise Bull past CRR, and this one's going to go wide once more for Complexity. The creativity ramping up, though. You can see the ideas, and on a 2-goal cushion, HAG, he's got Raise Bull in the midfield.
There's a bump.
He lets it go. The bump comes through, and Chronic still makes the save.
HAG almost taking out 2 defenders in 1 jump. Now we see 2 defenders demoed. But a quick counterattack, net wide open. CRR into the heart of the net. And Gen.G, it looks like their heart has stopped in game 3.
Yeah, it looks like Chronic was trying to get back in time, went for the corner boost, didn't expect the transition to happen so quickly, and in the end, it's an open net for CRR. Complexity up 3-0 here in game 3.
Complexity They showed a bit of what they had in game 2. Gen.G fought back. Game 3 has been all complexity. They have not let off the gas. It started out with some demos from AJG. Offensively, possession heavily in favor for complexity. Another pass in. AJG looks for the 50. Nolly with a backflip. Will tap it down to Jack. Jack, not much boost. Will bounce off the backboard. Chronic infield to Nolly. Nolly, the light hit. Not enough power on it. CRR streaks in for the save.
There it is again. These little passes around the box, dropping it in front of your teammates. The wind up for a shot not being so direct is paying off, and apparently Jack almost bumps AJG out of the way. And now still complexity holding on to this one. They're able to get out now. CRR, monster flick to the backboard. Double tap, drops it down! CRR is insane!
He gets that big flick right into a double tap. No hesitation, Nolly. Oh, that might be a poster play right there.
4-0 for complexity. Statement is being made right now. And Gen.G, maybe the weakest game we've seen out of them today. It's been smooth sailing for them. And complexity have flipped them upside down. Now Chronic trying to make amends, trying to fight back here with a minute 40 seconds left.
Half-Jack playing the 50. It's won by AJG. Nolly a bit surprised by it. Corner bounce. This is another awkward bounce. Double commit from Gen.G. Raise ball up high. CRR's on the ceiling. Reading the foul. What? CRR! Gee, Corelli, CRR, he's playing at a different level right now.
Oh my, they're gonna get another one here. AJG's gonna put it away. CRR is just free jumping. He's getting the perfect touch every time. That insane read, he almost put it away above the net. And then to find this angle at the last second, AJG's gonna put it home. But complexity are running it away, and it's led by CRR.
We saw some crazy plays earlier in this event by Gen.G. Gen.G was pre-jumping offensively, defensively. Now we're seeing that type of creativity, that type of craziness from CRR and complexity.
I'm kind of flabbergasted here, James. I mean, I did not expect complexity. I expected them to win a few games here, have the possibility of winning this series, but to just smother Gen.G with the way they've been playing. 6-0, and they still got just under 20% of the game left to play. This is crushing for Gen.G.
In game 3, complexity has turned the Tigers into kittens, that's for sure. Apparently Jack off kickoff. Doing his best. Another tip, AJG looking to get more. Can they get 7? And this is just shocking. After the first 2 games, setting it up. That's all I can think. They're setting it up.
Yeah, why not? Raise bull. Listen, it's still complexity. In my mind, James, they're 7-0, right? It's 7-0 right now.
Yeah, it is. And there's still time left.
But what
30 seconds.
I mean, for complexity, this is a fantastic game. And I think this is something that we saw in the previous game, James, in that first minute or two where they went up. They were all over Gen.G. This is what happens when they're converting on most of their chances. A 6-1 scoreline.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. No, it gets denied on the goal line. Somehow Gen.G keeping that one out, but the net might be wide open.
He faked them.
Raise ball does it. 7-1.
Take him down to South America, why don't you, Raise Bull? Let him fly by and put it over his head. That's a first-class ticket.
And how fitting is that? How fitting is that? Complexity getting to Brazil. And there's not even any Brazilians on that team.
I was going to say, they're not even Brazilian.
Complexity, a beatdown in game 3. Gen.G, this was the worst that we've seen them be. It's so bad that Gen.G is actually calling a timeout after that one loss.
If not for anything, to just lick your wounds. I mean, this was painful for Gen.G. And I mean, the stats tell the story exactly how it went down. 18 shots for Complexity. And Gen.G had a fair score line as well. They were able to put up 8.
Well, I mean, when you get saves, you get you get a lot of points.
Well, I just meant in the shooting department as well. 8 shots isn't that bad, but when it's up against 18, a little bit different there. And I think for for Gen.G, they really have to do some thinking here. This is where you need to settle down. I think the timeout's perfect here to just talk about what happened. And maybe, you know, like I was about to say, maybe stand up a little bit. Jack, I saw it for a second there, was getting up out of the chair, kind of shake that one off a little bit.
And I do think it's interesting because a lot of times you see teams wait until that match point, wait until that point where they might be eliminated to call that timeout. But we've seen a few different strategies this event. You think about Dignitas calling the timeout after they won. Now, after that one big win, Gen.G deciding to blow the timeout then and there. We'll see if it pays off. But Gen.G needs to just get their composure back because that game. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen Gen.G get beat that bad. I can't recall off the top of my head.
No, I can't either. And just a reminder, though, I mean, Gen.G are still winning in this series. It's 2-1 in favor of Gen.G. So they're taking a timeout while winning the series after obviously being crushed here in Game 3. And you can see some smiles coming out from Lucian there. I'm sure they're just kind of recalibrating here. But for Complexity, you got to be a little upset because you were playing so well. Can you replicate this again? A little bit of a break here. Can you keep it going? Because we want to see this more than just one game. Okay, you blow them out one time. We got to see it more than once. Well, you're going to win this series.
But I feel like we have seen it more than once. We saw it in game 2. And they very easily could have locked that game in, and you're starting to see Complexity really get comfortable. That last play with Razebull faking out the defender. That's how hard they're playing right now. You know that Razebull was hungry for that 7th goal, and Complexity showing us the depth of their offense. CRR getting incredibly. It's tough to remember and imagine that this is CRR's first grand final with how he's playing. Let's see if Complexity can keep it going. Razebull has been all over the field. Seems like he's been at the center of a lot of successful plays for Complexity.
By the way, James, that was the second worst loss that Gen.G has ever had. It was G2 that handed him a loss 8-0 in Fall 3.
Okay, well, I mean, that's
still not pretty.
Still, yeah. That second worst beatdown you've ever had. That's not what you hope for in the grand finals.
Certainly see if they can shake it off. Oh my,
Chronic reset, trying to get the 50 as well. There's a demo. Demos were what Complexity came out of the gate in Game 3, and it kind of set the tone. Another demo, and it was AJG who's been doing it quickly towards net. A skip save from apparently Jack. That one was heading for net.
Great work, though. Skip that one off. Now Razebull up and over Chronic. He's got Jack to beat. Let's dunk this one down. Still trying to find possession there after the air dribble. AJG might poke it free. He does! And Complexity jump into the lead.
AJG is playing so aggressively. Nolly trying to take a first touch. It's way too heavy. And AJG, the demoer for Complexity, hopping in there and getting that quick shot. Complexity picking up where they left off.
Just what Complexity needed. Chronic trying to get through CRR. AJG, he's got options as he puts it over everyone's head. Now he's going to try and play it towards Razebull. Denied by Nolly.
CRR jumping up high. Chronic around him. Another heavy first touch. We'll get back for the 50. Apparently Jack into an air dribble. 50 out. Chronic a little bit too slow. Now Nolly will shoot it towards net. Gives up possession, and now Complexity on the other end. A miss off the backboard, and AJG picks up his second.
Whoa, huge mistake coming out from Gen.G. It was apparently Jackie. You do not see him miss those often.
He was trying to drive up the wall. It was an awkward read. You wonder how much boost he had. Trying to get around there and drive up that wall. Very tough.
Now a fake kickoff came out from Gen.G to start off. But yeah, you don't see mistakes like that, James. Not often, especially not from apparently Jack. And Complexity good to take advantage, because that's one that you're not going to get again, I think, from Gen.G. They do not make those mistakes.
But in a 7-game series or best of 7, sometimes little mistakes like that can cost you the entire series, not only the game. And Complexity, they already occupy a special spot in Gen.G's mind. With these last 2 games, you'll wonder if Gen.G is going to be able to come back. Apparently Jack letting that one fall to the corner. CRR has Raise Bull waiting. Ball finds its way to Raise Bull. First touch is real nice. Into a flip reset. Rebound out. CRR's backwards, trying to bicycle kick that one in. Couldn't do it.
I think Raise Bull has sat on the flip reset every single time he's got it. And I think the defense is slowly starting to figure that one out. Trying to be a little tricky with it. Now CRR pushing this one downfield. Complexity happy to sit on their 2-goal lead. It's up to Gen.G to produce an offense.
Chronic, awkward jump. Rebound finds its way out. Apparently Jack gets the stop. Huge demo from Nolly. AJG was ready to rip one.
And now this one left to Chronic. It goes high off the crossbar. Now CRR, 2v1. He's only got like 3 boosts in the tank there, and unfortunately couldn't hold on to it. Demo's coming out. That's 2 on Gen.G. Raise Bull wasn't able to hold on to that one very well, and the attack slowly fizzling out here for Complexity.
Looked like he was trying to go low on that. Now the 50 will bounce it down. Seen a few double commits from Gen.G. Apparently Jack will get a nice bounce. Can't get the double, but Nolly's there to clean things up. And Gen.G within striking distance now.
Yeah, finally bouncing back here, and Jack just beating the first man to the ball on AJG. That sets up Nolly, and Chronic was there as well to wind up the shot. And Gen.G within 1.
Raise Bull weaving it around the defense, trying to get this back to the middle. CRR didn't jump quick enough, and now it's a break. 2v1. Nolly gets help from Appjack. CRR down to the middle of the field. Chronic trying to back pass it, but he actually ends up helping Complexity, even though Complexity don't score. That touch making things awkward.
Backflip shot almost went through. Now Chronic near post will sneak it through. Gen.G finds the equalizer.
Raise Bull maybe trying to do too much on that dribble. You see AJG jumping briefly, trying to get the wraparound, but the shot was coming too quickly, and Gen.G tied things up. In this game, it did not look like Gen.G was going to be able to fight back. This has been a scrappy game from Gen.G.
Yeah, they've been able to battle back in the limited chances that they've had. Complexity's offense has really kept Gen.G's touches limited here. But they have made the most of it when they've been given the opportunity. And now, with just over 30 seconds left, it's anyone's game.
Nolly shut down by Raise Bull. Raise Bull staying on the ball, going for the pass off the corner. Nolly can't get contact, and apparently Jack is there to get the stop. Raise Bull picking up the corner and the clear to the sidewall. Now towards net, Nolly high up off the ceiling, the double. Trying to put it over to Chronic. Chronic can't get the touch, and it looked like there was a team bump there, but Gen.G recovered. No boost for Chronic to get the touch. Nolly fighting to get this ball back to the middle, doesn't get the touch. And we've got overtime, a chance for Gen.G to go on match point.
Feels like a very level game after the halfway mark. Gen.G have battled back and earned themselves an overtime. I think their offense has slowly started to ramp up. You see Complexity be a little awkward on defense as well. A couple double commits, but here's AJG. Trying to end it now. A miss comes out, and Race Bull just tries to keep it awkward. Doesn't want to give a pinch back towards his own side. CRR, hard tackle from him, and a big clear from Nolly will reset things.
Race Bull, that ball bounced right by him.
Strike one.
Still Complexity recovers. CRR getting free jump by Nolly. Appjack off the ceiling. Getting his jump, using it right away. CRR dunked on by Chronic. Now bump, AJG staying on the play. Off the corner, Raise Bull trying to possess. Into a dribble. Flick pass to AJG. AJG to the backboard. And Chronic will hit it away, but Raise Bull took apparently Jack out. Now, Nolly taken out as well. The passing plays coming out from Complexity. AJG has CRR waiting upfield. CRR waiting but the ball doesn't come to him. However, Complexity are starting to heat up.
Great touch there from Nolly to deny twice now. Gen.G, they put this one away, denied by CRR, but you can see Complexity did a great job bringing this ball down and finding each other, switching the field a little bit more often as well. They've had multiple setups on the clears from Gen.G. Here's Razebull. Taking this one himself, tried to go under. Follow-up from CRR is aggressive, as AJG can't get beat here. To the backboard it goes. Follow-up from Razebull, denied by Chronic.
Chronic, huge stop there. AJG, hard pinch off the ceiling. Chronic over to the corner. Apparently Jack racing to it and will relieve the pressure with a big clear. Another challenge from Appjack. AJG looking for the sidewall. Gen.G setting up at the midfield.
Brought it down.
2 boosts though for CRR. He's out. Razebull. One for the 50. High ball, Chronic. It's a double tap ball. The double tap interrupted though. CRR clearing it off to the side and getting a challenge. Apparently Jack stretching to it. Doesn't get the most on it. CRR towards net. It's off target. Bounces off the wall and out. Now Nolly and a dribble. Ball finds its way down. Apparently Jackie's denied. Chronic's up. Light shot saved by CRR.
Oh my. CRR is everywhere, but he's got to come up big again. Appjack's got an open net. AR off the post. Comes up huge defensively.
Coming up big again, and now the ball lobbed back towards net. AJG high hit off the arc and down. And Nolly will boom it out, approaching 3 minutes of overtime, and it has been exciting every second.
CRR is playing out of his mind right now. He's beating defenders. He's defending his net. He's attacking by himself. He's setting up his teammates. They just need a clean shot. And now Chronic over CRR. He got beat this time, and it might cost him. Nolly puts it away, and Gen.G up 3.
Nolly with the immediate jump, underflip shot, gets the power. And Gen.G take Complexity down in what I think will be the critical game of the series, Corelli.
I really cursed CRR there. I'm so sorry. He was playing such a great game and then got beat right at the end there. Gen.G, boy, did they have to battle for this one. This is a far cry from any of the games that they've had, any of the series that they've had so far since I think probably the last time they played Complexity. And for Gen.G, it's not pretty, but it's working out. And that offense, it's looked great when it started to click. Complexity, boy, you feel like they left a lot on the table here. A lot of opportunity they just couldn't convert on.
Yeah, and I mean, it was another situation where Complexity takes that lead and they weren't able to hold on to it. And this was coming off the timeout from Gen.G. And the last game, it was a beatdown, Corelli, an absolute beatdown. So to see Gen.G bounce back like this, I think speaks volumes to this team. And they've had so much experience and with 5 grand finals so far, now getting to the grand finals yet again. This team means business, and they showed with this particular game, this individual game, that they really are legit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anyone really questioned that from either team, to be clear. But I think for Gen.G, there's a little bit of that grit that you can see coming out for them, as you're alluding to, James. But I do like the way Complexity played that previous game, despite the loss. I love to seeing them bring the ball down, find each other across the field a lot more. That's really where I think they shine, is switching the field so much. They did that a lot, generated so many chances for them against this Gen.G defense, who do like to kind of pile up and take the challenges head on.
We even see a lot of times members of Gen.G happen to throw 2 defenders at the ball here and there just to ensure that it gets stopped on the goal line. And Gen.G must have had that confidence restored. Chronic, ready up. There it is again.
He pre-jumped. The trust this team has is unmatched. The second he saw Nolly free, he started jumping. And a perfect pass. He knew exactly where he was getting sauced up. And a 1-0 lead for Gen.G early on.
Wow, Gen.G. They got hit hard. Looked like they were stumbling for a brief moment, but now they're right back on their feet. Apparently Jack jostling CRR over in the corner. I don't know what that, it didn't look like a roll one. but it did take him out of the game for a brief moment. Now a demo. Raise bull, quick shot, and Nolly back in time.
What a read from Nolly there. A little bit more power it might have gotten through. Now the bump comes out, CRR pops out to him, but the shot directly at apparently Jack. Complexity trying to get a quick response, but the defense stingy here from Gen.G.
CRR lobbing that up. Raise bull in reverse, going for a 50, kicks out to AJG into a dribble, looked for CRR on the pass, but nothing doing. Now a quick shot, and that does catch Gen.G out.
And what happened here? They had a last man and apparently Jack, and he bit here, and he didn't get the touch. He got chased out of his side and then didn't come up with a touch either. And Complexity takes advantage.
It's a long road for Complexity. Got to get 3 straight wins. Whereas Gen.G can end it with just 1. CRR air dribble shut down by Chronic Nolly. Heavy first touch, but it's right out to Abjack. Jack shut down, ball bouncing off the corner. Chronic to Nolly, Nolly back to Chronic. Chronic leaves it, faking it out, but apparently Jack wasn't in the play. Now he enters the picture, and he's the main character in the goal.
And this is the issue with the defenses that go up against Gen.G's offense, is the extra pass is never off the table. When the obvious shot is to be taken, Gen.G choose to pass, and they do it over and over and over again until you dive in, and it's an
even when there's
tap.
no one to pass to. You know, you saw Chronic with that backflip and deciding not to take the hit and rather fight for possession on the ball in the corner. And it led to that shot opportunity for apparently Jack.
I mean, we don't see any team that has this type of cohesion like Gen.G. And you see how it pays off for them. That play is a perfect example of what people say when they talk about Gen.G being on the same page. Gen.G having that cohesion. It's incredible.
Big brain plays. Big brain plays. And you saw apparently Jack even fighting for that corner boost and getting it. Quick shot. There's a demo. CRR. The pinch. Chronic has to get up quickly. Now Complexity starting to work up an attack. Raise bull into the middle. 2 go. Nolly and Chronic both jump. Now an infield pass cut out by apparently Jack. The quick shot. Apparently Jack trying to catch him out.
Complexity's offense has felt a little flat here. Certainly not like the last couple games. Need to see more out of them. They're sitting on match point. CRR, he's got 2 minutes to go to work. He's got options to his right. Beats the first man. Needs a dunk here. Fighting for every inch on the Gen.G side, but it's just not enough. AJG's got to slow it down and wait for his team to get back.
And winning a regional grand final all but guarantees you that spot at the major, and that would mean everything for this Complexity team that has been so hungry, so eager for success. Whereas Gen.G, after winning the major, looking to get back and win another one, it would really help them along on that journey. Chronic going to the corner, fakes the double. Raise bull, doesn't get much on it. The net was vulnerable. That shot was high. Very easily could have been the 3rd goal for Gen.G.
But you're right. I mean, it's only a 1-goal difference here, James. In the final minute, who will be the hero for Complexity? Who will step up? A single goal can at least send them to overtime if they don't do it in regulation. Raise bull denied by Nolly. Great challenge. Just keeping Complexity back. Gen.G not going to let anything in for free.
Under a minute left to play. Can Complexity do it? Oh, there's a demo. The ball bouncing. And you saw Chronic peel off at the last second. Possession back to Gen.G. Raise bull trying to get this ball to the corner. And you can really feel that urgency. Wonderful pass, but the shot blocked immediately by apparently Jack.
What a read from apparently Jack, and he take it all the way himself to end it. The dagger here for Chronic. Gen.G, they're unstoppable.
Apparently Jack getting that extra little touch on the ball, forcing that 50 on the goal line. And Gen.G, despite getting beat 7-1, they called the immediate timeout. And Corelli, do they bounce back or what?
Oh my goodness. In the best way. in the fullest of the word. They have bounced back, and they've taken down, I think, the final boss that has been for Gen.G, Complexity. My goodness.
And Gen.G, they take it all once more. They're your Winter Open champions.
Apparently Jack was already out of his seat. He can't even believe it. But I think we all can. Watching this run in the playoff bracket, especially when they got into the semifinals, it's the expectation at this point.
It's automatic. It seems like it's automatic for Gen.G. Gen.G, early on in this series, let's reflect a little bit, Corelli. You know, game one, Gen.G looked rock solid. Game two, not so much. Complexity was showing us their possession game. They kept it in Gen.G's half for a good minute and a half at the start of the game. It looked like they were going to win it, but then Gen.G clawed back to get that win. Game three, it was all Complexity. It was the second worst beatdown that Gen.G's ever had. And you thought that that might be the turning point of the series.
Yeah. I mean, who has that in their grand finals and then comes back and just wipes the rest of the grand finals after that? I mean, that's just insane. Only a team with the mental of Gen.G, only the team with the skill of Gen.G can do that. What a run they have had, and they earned their flowers here to win the Winter Open.
They certainly did, and Chronic had a fantastic series, but everyone had their moment on Gen.G. Gen.G, the team that some people doubted at the start of the year, but with the results that they've got, I don't think you can doubt them at all. And to break everything down, we're going to head back to the desk.
We're starting to run out of things to say about Gen.G. They have been in this spot so many times, won so many ways. They received their second worst beatdown ever in this series and still won 4-1. Gen.G, the best team in North America. You cannot make another argument for any other team, Gibbs.
It was insane because we talked about this like 3 months ago. We were like, are Gen.G clutch? Because they kept making finals and kept losing at that time. Well, now they've won 3 tournaments in a row. They won the Fall Invitational 4-0 versus FaZe, and they go on and win the Fall Major, obviously. And now coming out against Complexity, they came back multiple times in the series. That game 4 was absolutely huge because it looked like it was a turning point in the series for Complexity. They were up 2-0 in game 4. Gen.G battled back, some incredible saves by Complexity as well, but it didn't matter long. Overtime, Gen.G prevails. 3 tournaments in a row, Stags. You can't get any better.
No, it does not get much better than that. And, you know, you've got, how about this? You got CRR in the finals, you got Nolly in the finals, you got Devo in a main event over in Europe. If you're a Guild fan right now, you're wondering, what the heck went wrong?
Well, that's the conversation for another time, but we talked to him beforehand. We talked to him a little bit. We're going to talk to him again. It's AppJack standing by to talk about the win.
Well, I'm sitting here with apparently Jack, Winter Regional Champion. It just seems like you can't lose. How are you feeling?
This win is ridiculous. This win probably means the most to us out of any single one we've had. I don't want to speak for my teammates, but yeah, it's I can't believe it. I really can't.
Well, I mean, go into it. Why does it mean so much to you?
Right, I keep saying that, but we were struggling so much leading up to this regional. I thought I was like, we've moved into new places. We've not had the same preparation time. We've not had the same practice time. Hours, they're still high, but it's not like effective. Trying to get used to new setups, it was just a nightmare. I wasn't feeling confident at all. I thought like my time at the top, like as like individually one of the best, if not the best, was done. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I just can't. Yeah, it means a lot. And getting the first win of the split and beating Complexity, because obviously they own us in the past. So yeah.
Talk to me. Let's walk through the series a bit. How were you guys feeling going into it after you guys realized you were playing them in the finals?
We were confident. We knew what we had to do. We're a different team in playoffs. We understand that. Complexity absolutely deserved every single win they've had against us. But we aren't the same team in those stages of the tournament. Nothing to them. They are the hardest team we've played in a final, to be honest, even though we've won. And it was messy, but we got it done, you know.
Yeah, let's go into the series here. Of course, we need to talk about the game 3. You guys got smacked.
Yeah.
How you guys took a timeout afterwards, and then you were able to kind of bounce back. What went on during that situation?
I don't want to talk too much about the strats, but I mean, the strat is the same. We just had to slow the play down on challenges and speed it up on defense. I'm fine to say that in public. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, that was the strat, and then the rest of the timeout was just about calming ourselves down, trying to get us to realize that, trying to break that kind of momentum that they had, because it was a lot, you know, and there was a lot of momentum against us. We were panicking a lot in that game because it was like it's starting to settle in. These guys are doing their play style against us that we struggle against for some reason. We're starting to panic. Let's chillax, you know.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys reset and everything worked in your favor. Now, I want to go into the team here specifically because, you know, you guys, it just feels like you guys are playing a different game out there. It feels like you guys are definitely more like thought out. A lot of people in the community have been talking about your team's play style, at least from what they're seeing, in the way that they feel it is something that is more focused on just the overall team, not necessarily focused on individual mechanics or a simple player, so to speak. I just wanted to know what you have to say on that.
Yeah, absolutely. The team, each player plays for their two teammates, so everyone has two players playing for them. If you play for yourself, if everyone on the team plays for himself, each player has one person playing for himself, you know? So it's team and synergy and all that stuff in Rocket League is far more important than mechanics. I didn't realize that last season. I very much realize it now. Of course, we have to have mechanics, but I think consistent mechanics is better than flashy mechanics. You know, I always say it, for every double flip set you pull out, there's probably a better play you could have made 5 seconds ago that could have involved more people. And it's not dangerous. If you communicate effectively, there's nothing wrong with going for 3-man passing plays and stuff like that. You just have to choose the right moments.
That was very well spoken. Thank you so much, Jack, everyone, for taking the time for the interview, and of course, congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, of course, you know, you won the tournament again. We have to give you guys the floor. Any shout outs you want to make? Anything you want to say to the fans?
Yeah, shout out to my team. I was struggling for this event, and they pulled me through, and I played well at the end. We really worked well as a team. Shout out to Mobile One Racing and Gen.G, of course, everyone behind the scenes, and all the fans, guys. I see all the comments. I can't thank you guys enough, genuinely. The amount of support we've had over the past 4 months is ridiculous. It will, you know, it won't always be this easy. We're very beatable, and I hope, you know, we get the continued support as the time comes. But we're always going to try and deliver. And Daz, appreciate you.
Of course, appreciate you as well. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Jack. Thank you so much for taking the time for this interview. Again, congrats on the win. Go celebrate. In the meantime, we'll send it back to the desk.
They have won another one, folks. Top 2 guaranteed, basically, at this point. Top 1, a coin flip for them. They'll make it to another finals and take another trophy home here. Interesting to hear that this one mattered more to them, Gibbs, given that they won a trophy in the last one.
Yeah, and I love that he says it was messy. Well, the past 2 playoff brackets they've had in North America, they're 24-3. So I don't think it was that messy when it comes down to when it goes into best of 7s on the weekend. Gen.G is unbeatable right now in North America. And here's your updated points for winter. And things are going to get interesting. 2 more tournaments before the major. Obviously, top 5 make that major. But this first tournament has some upsets brewing. We have Dignitas, obviously. They're tied for 3rd right now with 12 points. M80 as well with 8 points. And you look on the right side of the screen, we don't see FaZe on the right side of the screen very often.
Yeah.
They're sitting down with 5 points as well as version 1. So a lot of interesting things happening in this first tournament. We'll see if they repeat in tournament 2 and 3.
Well, let's take a look at the season points, which is a little bit more of an insane leaderboard here. Currently at 92 over the 57 from FaZe, close to double. 2nd place here. Also, I'm taking a look at Liquipedia's like projections for stuff. They kind of give them points for the future rounds that they're already guaranteed to be in. According to Liquipedia, Gen.G cannot play on a Sunday, like a Sunday qualifier for the rest of the season. They're already guaranteed top 8 for all of winter and spring.
92 points. That's insane. You could add up FaZe and version 1 as a group, and they only have 10 more points than them. That's insane what Gen.G is doing right now.
Yeah, as great as like Team BDS was back in RLCS X, Gen.G is eclipsing that by leaps and bounds right now. This is dominance that we have not seen to start a season. Maybe going back to like when the Dig Dynasty was a thing, and not even that.
It's crazy too, because back then too, with that BDS, I don't think a lot of people had BDS power rank that high, but they still had them relatively high because of off-season tournaments. A lot of people with Gen.G at the beginning of fall, including myself, had them like 8th, maybe, like around there, and like they'll probably make one major, they'll probably show up, but right now they are dominating the entire season.
They're the only team that is at the top of anyone's power rankings right now, folks. And if you want to see the team play in person, exclamation point tickets. You can see that happen beginning of April 7th through 9th at DreamHack in San Diego. We're going to have the RLCS major happen at the same time. Your ticket's worth 2 events. You get to go to DreamHack, you get to go to RLCS. I'm going to be there. You're going to want to be there, folks. It's going to be amazing stuff. Fantastic weather, fantastic Rocket League, the best teams in the world. You can pretty much guarantee Gen.G's already going to be there. So, man, is there anything else to say about today, Stacks? This was a Gen.G story from beginning to end.
Yeah, I mean, it is all about Gen.G. Shout out to Dignitas. They get that top 4 finish, so that gives them a bit of a cushion going into the second event before the Invitational. So always good to have double-digit points to the first event of the regional of the split.
And what a bounce back here gives for complexity, right? Absolutely. With the stuff through fall, then coming out here making top 2.
And this is their first grand finals in North America. And by the way they were playing, we could see many more. They had a team of Gen.G in their group, and they won that group as well.
Yeah.
So complexity, fantastic tournament for them. Very likely we'll see them at Major, as long as that they don't completely blow it for these last 2 tournaments. So they should be very, very happy with this result.
It's been a great day, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Next week, we are kicking off some more European action at 5 p.m. Central European time. That's going to be happening next Friday for the EU Winter Cup right here. Not going to want to go anywhere. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to production for making this possible. Thank you to all the casters and players for putting on the show. We'll see you next week for some more Rocket League.
Before school's gotta get worse, and sometimes it's gonna hurt. If you're ever gonna get that bad, then you better plan your attack. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger than you show it. You're braver than you know.
You can save an average of 2 times more with our smart savings tools. For everything we want, we're all better off with an ally.
Tries to send one to the back of the net, and he will triple touch. You said the double might work out. How about a triple?
Oh my! This time, fire! Try to clear this away. Let it go. Put the back. Picked up the steam. It's still there for Jim. He scored!
My feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna say